Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ring Down Below, a Blades in the Dark actual play. I'm Eli Kurtz, your host and game master, and we will be introducing everyone momentarily. But like I said, we are playing Blades in the Dark, a game created by John Harper and 1-7 Design and published by Evil Hat Productions. This is our 7th session, and we are coming to the close of our Season 1. Before we get started with the actual gameplay, I want to hand it off to the players for them to introduce themselves and their characters. So to get started, let's say hi to Derek.
That's me. I'm Derek. I'm a small part of the Mythic Gazetteer. I will be playing Clink this evening, who is a kind of evil genius when it comes to tinkering with things and creating mad scientific devices to power our illicit skiff boat racing. So it's been a lot of fun playing Clink and getting up into a lot of mischief, and I hope everyone's been enjoying all the crazy things that Clink does. So looking forward to seeing how this night concludes.
Absolutely, yeah. Next we have Jeremy.
Hey everybody, I am Jeremy. I have the YouTube channel, The Erasmus Expeditions, where I have live plays and crafting videos and videos talking about RPGs. And I am also 1/3 of the Dudes of Yore podcast, which can be found on YouTube. And tonight I'm going to be stepping back into the shoes, and I guess rest of the clothes as well, of Benji Overstreet, who's the spider from the Dagger Isles, race boat champion and sly dog.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back, Jeremy. Good to see you.
Thank you.
And finally, we've got Baron.
What's up, everybody? I'm Baron. I run the YouTube channel RWD Gaming. We have some live plays up over there. We got a couple coming out this month. Check me out there. You can also find me at various other games on the Erasmus Expeditions, so check Jeremy out more often than me. Tonight I'm going to be reprising my role as Jonathan Black, a haunted information gatherer. I'm hardly a person at this point, so...
Yeah, well, we're glad to have this empty shell of a man join us tonight. So one last thing before we get started. I am the head honcho of the Mythic Gazetteer, and Derek helps me out with that. We publish stuff, and that includes these sorts of actual play videos. So if you like us, you can check out our website, or you can check us out on Twitter at ZapDynamic. That's my own Twitter, but I use it for Mythic Gazetteer stuff too. All right, so with no more ado, let's get into this game. Welcome, scoundrels! Once again, KMGX and its affiliated stations are proud to present Gazetteer Radio's program, Ring Down Below, a tale of labor and struggle from the pitch-dark canals of Doskball. We go now to Solya and Spall betting office, where clandestine winnings are being disbursed. So, we're hovering over the waters of the Void Sea, and we're looking at the silhouette of Doskval lighted against the lightning barriers, and we are rapidly moving towards them, and we go through the docks, we go through the streets of the docks, and then we go over a river into Crow's Foot, which is contested gang territory between 3 different gangs. And we find a nondescript office on a street that just has a sign over it that says Solya and Spall. And inside this building is none other than Benji Overstreet, who is speaking with one of his contacts, Solya, who is not only a betting officer for above-board gambling, such as, lotteries and animal races and that sort of thing, but also for illegal betting, such as with the illegal canal races. And so Solya is handing over a purse of money to our friend Benji. And I'm trying to remember. I don't think we got... Did we get coin after the end of the last session?
Yes, I'm pretty sure we did.
Cool. So this is...
spent it.
Yeah, this is that coin. We're just kind of flashing back to before your downtime. So Solya is handing you the coin, and he says, "Ah, my friend, it was a wonderful race. I did not expect such an explosive end."
Sal, I don't think anybody expected that kind of an ending. To be
No,
truthful.
no, I think not. In fact, I think I have heard the Bluecoats are already in force in the streets who are trying to figure out who this was, who did this thing. And above and beyond the Bluecoats, I hear also that the Leviathan Hunters have had their anger roused, and they are here to exact revenge. So if I were you, my friend, I would lay low for a week or two.
Well, it wouldn't have been such a problem if that bastard Hutton hadn't decided to play dirty.
Well, yes, although I suppose you took care of that, did you not?
Well, sometimes a problem just takes care of itself.
Of course, of course. Always sad to lose a racer, but always glad to clean up the streets a little bit. Good work, my friend. But like I said, consider laying low. Best not to rouse too much suspicion while all of these eyes and ears are keeping a watch.
You're always a useful man, Salia.
Yes,
Always.
of course, I am. Now get out of here and go spend all of this coin you have won. Such amazing success you have enjoyed.
We'll see you next time.
Yes, and you as well. Farewell, farewell. So we're going to skip ahead a few days, and we find ourselves in a different place in the city. Whereas before we were in Crow's Foot, now we are in the docks, and Clank is leaving a bar. Clank, is this Black as Pitch? Is this Peg Leg Pete's? Is this a new place? What's the story?
This is a new place,
Okay.
and it's the bar frequented by like mechanics and stuff. So it's all shop talk while they're there. And what's it called? Help me out here, guys. What should this bar be called?
The spark plug.
There we go. This is the spark plug in.
There you
The
go.
spark plug. I love it. All right. I'm just going to make a note about that. This is the Spark Plug Inn or the Spark Plug Tavern?
Well, it's the spark plug tavern next to the spark plug in.
Okay, cool. All right, sounds good. Tavern next door. There we go. All right, so you are taking a drink in here. You've had your fill. You head out onto the streets, and you notice there are a couple shady figures behind you, just in time for a third shady figure to grab you by the collar and pull you into an alleyway. These three...
Well,
Yeah.
can I try to resist that? Or?
Well, let me... Yeah, you can try to resist that for sure. So this would be a prowess resistance.
Well, I guess I don't want to resist. I want to just do a roll to see if I can get out of it. You know what I
sure.
mean? Instead of... So I can do a prowess to get out of it.
Yes, prowess to get out of it.
Can I do a prowl to get out of it? Like, so if I'm going to be grabbed by like the back of my coat collar, I'm going to try to slip out of my coat.
That would be fine, but when you resist, it's only ever an attribute. It's not one of the nested actions.
No, I know. So I mean, I don't want to resist because I don't want to accumulate stress at the moment. I want to just see if I can.
Oh, gotcha.
Or if you're going to say it's just a resistance roll, then I'm just going to say I get pulled into an alley.
Yeah, I mean, your options are either to resist and take some stress or just let the action happen, I think. There's no opportunity for you to act right now.
Okay, I get pulled into an alley then.
Okay, cool. So you get pulled into an alley. There are these three big burly dudes. You recognize they have Leviathan Hunter tattoos all up and down their arms. They're of various nationalities or ethnicities. And there's a woman who lights up a cigarette further down the alley, and you can see her silhouette kind of lighted up against the flame that's lighting this cigarette. She's got dark hair that's short, and she's wearing this long oilskin coat. As she moves closer to you, it seems she's a Ruvian, and she definitely has her sea legs. It seems almost that the ground is too stable for her to walk on comfortably. But she approaches you, and
As she approaches, I say, "If you wanted an autograph, all you had to do was ask."
one of the goons standing behind you is like, "Should we rough him up for that one, Celine?" And she's like, "No, I don't think so. Look, we've got plenty of reasons to rough you up, Clank. We know that one of our wharves was destroyed by your fireworks. You want to explain that?
I'm not responsible what happens once things go up.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we agree with you about that, Clank. I think we're going to hold you responsible for this, and we're not the only Leviathan crew who's got our eyes out for you.
How about I set some up for your birthday?
Boys, you want to teach this guy a lesson? He seems like he's not quite getting the message. And the three goons try to work you over. Do you want to make a resistance to avoid the harm?
How much harm is it going to be?
It would be level 1 harm, bruised or battered or something.
Can I take gear now?
Can you take what?
Can I have gear now?
Sure. You're saying you want to use armor?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I'm wearing armor, but I act like I got hurt.
Okay, so would it have been like armored plating that you wore for some specific reason, or is it like your mechanic gear that just happened to be placed in such a way that it didn't hurt you, or what do you think?
Yeah, my gear has like metal plates in, like sewn in through it. Especially since I got stabbed already in the gut, I have I put like a metal plate in the gut area.
Sure.
So I probably got hit some, but hopefully not enough to get hurt.
Sure, you're more cautious than you used to be. You realize some of the dangers that are out in these night black streets. Cool. So they work you over, and then the three goons and Celine leave you with no more than the warning that they gave you ahead of time. The Leviathan hunters are watching, and they're not the only crew that's looking out for the canal racers. And then we're going to... go ahead.
Well, I think I go back into the spark plug to get another drink.
Yeah, it's the sort of situation where you might need another drink. That's understandable. And then we're going to fast forward a few more days, and we find ourselves back in Night Market at a familiar tavern where Jonathan Black and Valeris met once before. They have met here once again, and Valeris is... applauding just lightly in the back of this tavern here at a table, and he says, "Well, my friend, I must say, congratulations, Ronaldo. You've been quite busy these past few months, haven't you?"
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yes. In fact, I hear that there is a long-coated gentleman who keeps being seen in clandestine alleyway meetings in the docks with cigarette smoke constantly puffing about his head. I don't suppose you'd know anything about that, would you?
Well, you know me, Valeris. I'm a pretty busy guy.
Yes, quite busy. In fact, I hear that there are a number of dockers who have decided that they are tired of their master's wishes, and they seem to be organized by someone rather recently. I don't suppose you'd know anything about that either, would you?
Oh, me? No, I resonate the response to the whole thing. It's hard being treated like shit. You can't disagree, man. You know you can't.
No, indeed not. And in fact, I've taken measures to avoid being treated like shit. I must ask you, though, this is the real question I came here to ask you tonight. Do you know anything about the group called Ring Down Below?
It sounds familiar. What do you know?
Well, I don't know anything, but I'm telling you, if you happen to find some information, I might pay quite handsomely for it.
Well, I mean, I could talk to a couple people. Pay the bricks, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
See if I can dig something up for you.
You're rather good at digging things up, aren't you?
Well, it depends on who you are.
Yes.
Just some bloke on the street, I'm not digging nothing. But for a pal like you, and I'll like straighten up his jacket a little bit, like tighten his tie. There's a lot I'd do for you, my friend.
Yes, well, I'm so glad to hear it. Tell you what, if you do find anything, just send a letter to me, and then we shall meet again here and discuss what you found.
Sounds easy enough. I'll do that.
Very well. All right, well, let's continue drinking after all. So,
Absolutely.
yet a few more days go by, and we find all three of you are gathered back at the Eek mechanic shop and a docking facility back at the lair. So, It's been about a week since the last canal race, and there have been no more canal races because they've got to lie low themselves. Is there anything in particular that you all are doing here now or that you've done recently that you want to share with us?
Well, Clank has informed them of Celine and told them to be wary that the Leviathan hunters are out there. Clank would hope that our cohorts could have been out gathering information for us to see who actually is after us.
Ah, okay, like which specific Leviathan hunters?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that could totally happen. So why don't we do a gather information roll and remind me your Docker gangsters are what exactly? I think they are
Humans.
rooks. They are happy to spread the propaganda of their movement. They're principled and unreliable, but also loyal and tenacious. So, yeah, go ahead and give me this gather information roll. I think this will be fortune instead of being tied to a specific action. And I'll give you 2 dice. Actually, just 1 die for your tier.
Well, you need to say that before I put 2. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
1 dice. Yep. No notes. I got a 2.
2, all right. So they managed to find out that there are, of course, 5 or 6 Leviathan Hunter ships, each one owned by an individual noble house. This is all common information. But in particular, it seems like Celine is the first mate of Lady Ankayat, who has her very own Leviathan Hunter ship and is none too pleased that her wharf got destroyed by some upstart little sniveling canal racers.
Well, Clank is paranoid. So once he got accosted in the streets, like he's been holed up in their hideout. Like not showering, not sleeping much, constantly at the window seeing who's coming up the street. And I'm sure it's getting on Benji's and Jonathan's nerves. But when he hears it's Lady Ankayat's ship that's Lean's from, like, he just, like, holy crap. He doesn't know who that is, but just Lady Ankayat, oh my god.
If nothing else, this is nobility you're dealing with. This is
Right,
one of the highest profile folks you've offended so far.
So Clank is probably, like, booby-trapping the entire hideout.
Okay. And so maybe here at the lair, he's pointing out all the booby traps to Benji and Jonathan so that they don't set them off themselves.
He might forget a couple of them, so be careful, guys.
Yeah.
No, you're going to tell me every single trap you put down in here, I'm not getting lit on fire again.
There was a minor
Fine.
burn. You
see me
lived.
come out of the light, and there's like a pink blotch along the side of my face. Light burn. There is no such thing as a light burn. You either get burnt or you don't.
It adds character.
I think like from the other room, there's like a loud snapping noise. Ow! Damn it, Clank! And like Benji comes in, there's like a mouse trap like attached to his finger.
I
See,
forgot that was
Clank,
there.
you're going to tell every trap to me and Benji so we can take him down.
Okay, well, careful when you reach into. Oh, it's a box of some food. Just reach into them all, but be careful.
If it's fire, I swear, mate.
When I tried to use the bathroom earlier, there was a pipe that busted loose and sprayed water all over me. What is going on, Clank?
You're gonna want to get that looked at right away.
Clank, what have you done?
They might be coming for us. We never know where they're gonna come from.
Who the hell are you talking about, mate?
The bathroom?
The hunters. Someone pissed them off. I don't know who it was.
Hunters. I mean, we blew up the dock. I don't imagine why.
Allegedly.
No, I mean,
All right, between me, you, and the fence post, we blew up a fucking dock.
Do you know
So
who that
it-
fence post is?
Yeah, it's Benji.
no. Solia warned me to. He said that there were some people that were interested in who had done it. So maybe
All
Clank's
right,
right.
well, I mean, I had some downtime a couple days ago. What do we know about the ring down below?
the ring down below, and Clank scurries off, and you hear him hammering stuff.
Just the mere mention of the term, everybody would know that that's a colloquialism for whenever a leviathan starts to surface out in the void sea, deep below the ocean. They usually spend their time beneath the surface of the water, but they eventually surface up, and that's when the leviathan hunter ships can come up and get their lightning oil. Because leviathans kind of glow, whenever they're below a ship before they surface, the whole water beneath the ship starts to glow in a ring around the ship, hence the ring down below. But in terms of like a group that you know of in the city, that's totally unknown to you all.
All right, so I mean, what do we know about the Leviathan hunters right now? Is that they're pissed off at us, allegedly. The fishing grounds are a little bit scarce these days. It's leading to more Leviathan hunters staying here at the docks. Could be something to do with that.
One of the rooks. Actually, yeah. Let's describe this rook. One of the rooks stuck around after delivering this news about the Leviathan hunters. What's this rook look like? Let's go with Baron.
This guy, he looks older than he is. Like his hair is graying. It's like kind of shaggy. His beard is patchy in spots, but he's only like 28, maybe 30 years old. His face is real worn. This guy has probably lived a very stressful life, or he smokes as much as Jonathan does.
Nice. And Benji, what is this guy's relationship to the Dockers? Is he a Docker himself? Is he a family member? What's going on?
I think he would have been a fourth generation Docker, but he had some illicit troubles and spent a little bit too much time in prison. And so the company that his family has been working for all these years wouldn't hire him.
Okay, so he's just kind of a free agent right now. Well, he was anyway until he got hooked up with the Electric Geek. Cool.
Clank walks by and says, "Don't sit there. You can sit there." No, you better not. And he walks back out again.
Yes, sir. Clank, sir. Yeah, no problem. Clank, what's one example of how this guy is an embodiment of the weird nature of Duskfall?
The weird nature of Duskfall?
Yeah, the gothic tension, this mixture of superstition and technology, this ghostly undercurrent
his
to the city.
fingers are all black. Like, the palms of the fingers are black. Like, he touched something one time, and he's been permanently discolored from something he touched.
All right.
It was probably some sort of ethereal ghost structure that he touched.
Yeah. Okay. So he's grabbing his fingers and he's like, ring down below. I've never heard of them before, but maybe they're some kind of secret society.
Clank walks back through
man.
secret society. And he
we have
goes
enough
back
paranoia in this room. Do we really want to build that with a secret society? Yeah, I mean, yeah, could be.
Total reversal. The guy, go ahead, Benji.
I was just gonna Benji's gonna look at him like, what? Where would you be getting that idea?
Well,
You just pulled it out of the air.
we are a kind of a secret society for the Dockers. I figure, maybe there's another one that's for the other guys, for the bosses or something.
Oh no, he froze.
Oh, did I? Am I still frozen? Am I frozen still? Let me just try and reconnect. Am I back?
Oh no.
Am I back now? No? Yes?
The only
Maybe?
one
All
we
right.
got Eli.
Well, it's safe to assume that these guys are probably NPC says so.
Am I back now?
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Okay, great, great.
Well, and then it froze again.
Oh, but now I
Oh.
keep seeing just tiny little things. Is my video
There-
choppy or what?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
We lost you entirely. You froze for a second, and then you came back and froze again for a second, and then your video like sped up to catch up to where you were.
Oh, weird. So is it back to normal now?
It
It
seems
is
like
now,
it.
yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. So what did you miss? What all did you hear?
You stopped mid stutter.
Well, yeah, but what words did you hear so far?
He said, "Well, we're a secret society, so maybe it's for the other guys, you know."
Oh, yeah, okay. So he's like the other, maybe the bosses or something.
Clank hears the bosses, and then you hear a loud crash.
The bosses of what? The Leviathan hunters, or the Dockers, or
Well, the whole docks, I guess.
it's interesting.
I don't know though. I'm just spitballing.
It seems like an oddly specific spitball there, pal.
Well,
You
come
put some
through
thought.
before.
I give you the benefit of the doubt here. You put some thought into it. You did a real nice job presenting the information. I think it might be a secret society, fellas.
he's come through for us before. He's reliable. Well, I don't know if reliable is the right word.
I mean, maybe just no. Mr. Clank's paranoia's got to me. I could be anything. I don't know.
Clank comes out. Who's paranoid?
What this guy looks around at all the booby traps, and then he looks back at you like this is a trick question.
Like Clank says, "Here, hold this," and walks out.
What did you give him to hold?
Quickly put that down. Whatever it is, put it down.
Yes, sir. No problem. And he kind of really gingerly puts it down on the giant wheel
Spool table.
table. Yeah, the spool table.
John has moved behind the couch.
So, Clank, what is this thing that you gave him?
It's a sandwich.
But nobody trusts you at this point. It's
If you push a button, it's gonna catch on fire.
Did you want me to eat it?
You know, honestly, there's no way of telling.
Okay. Well, I think I'm gonna go back out and talk up the Dockers.
Yeah, and if you hear anything about this this secret society, you go let us know. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yes. Oh, and Mr. Black.
What is it, that pal?
The Dockers they're wondering if they should do something now that you've got them all convinced to be ready. They want to know what to do.
Well, still getting the last pieces into place here. Give me a couple days, and I'll get you going.
Okay, that sounds good.
Indeed.
All right, so there's a lot of stuff on the table. We know that the Leviathan hunters and the Dockers have been brawling in the streets, and actually recently we found out that we've heard rumors anyway that those brawls have changed from kind of isolated brawls in taverns and alleyways, and they're spilling out onto the streets where these people can get arrested by the Bluecoats. We also know that there have been some injuries and maimings reported in a few isolated cases. We also know that the Grinders have been causing quite a ruckus. They're restless and reckless in the alleyways of the docks in some of the more dilapidated parts of the district. And then there's all the stuff that you all have been working on your own. So the question is, what happens right now? What kind of priorities are you all setting?
Well, kind of being watched pretty heavy right now. Might not be a tad bad time to see your old pal LaRose there, right?
Mate, you got a funny idea about laying low.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah. What the fuck does that even mean? He blew up the docks. We blew up a cruise ship.
Hey.
I think we're about due to blow something.
Allegedly.
All right. Do I need to say allegedly every time?
Yes.
Apparently.
So we allegedly blew. We could fix the docks. We could do something nice, or we could go after the person that's going to come after us.
And who is that? The Leviathan Hunters?
LaRose, man.
The Rose is really-
Leviathan hunters.
Yeah. No big deal. They just want to cut us, kill us, stuff us in a barrel and drop us in the ocean.
I
Yeah,
mean,
they
as far as I'm
didn't
concerned-
exactly take me for tea.
As far as I'm concerned, you can take a number.
But LaRose, I want him to burn. I want him to burn bad, but he's leading the bloody Bluecoats. If we piss them
Well,
off,
I mean, blue coats are a little less intimidating than Leviathan hunters.
What if
You want to fuck with the people that hunt whales, demon whales.
no.
No. Maybe
wanna
I
fuck
can
with
help
anybody.
them. Yeah. Maybe I can make something that kills a demon whale.
So you want to go out? You want to go after Leviathan hunters? That's what you're saying.
No.
Well, when Clank says he wants to help somebody,
It usually ends up in something exploding.
I can kill a demon. Excuse me. And he goes back to his workshop.
okay, we were discussing, right.
But I mean, if we're gonna go after the Rose, we've got to have something on him.
I think, weren't we working on that, gathering information?
Yeah, I learned a bit. It's gonna take some more digging, I think, but
Okay.
apparently he really likes the brothels down in Silk Shore,
Same.
and apparently Jenna's old boss, Mr. Fitz, the one who was bankrolling the canal, Tasha.
The
Apparently
Railjacks.
he is the Railjacks. There you go. The Railjacks. Apparently the Rose is his contact. He's in with him somehow. I think he's the one to squeeze, but I'm not sure how yet.
Alright, I mean, we can put a pin in it then, I guess.
I mean, if you want to ask some questions, if you want to look around and see, I wouldn't mind it.
Do you have any ideas then?
Well, there's a lot of upheaval. A lot of people are mad and people moving on. I was thinking maybe we take the opportunity to expand our turf a little bit.
Oh, if we said I'm the risky one, I like the way you think, Benji. Let's go get some more turf.
I mean, our names are hot, both in the bad way and in the good way at the moment. And I've got a lot of people standing behind us. We might as well use the momentum we've got and the fame while we've got it.
Clink comes back in the room and asks them both, "Do you guys know anyone that can pour liquid metal into a mold?" And he walks back out.
Get real worried about him.
Yeah. And kind of looks around at like some of the booby traps like bolted into the walls and stuff.
Playing with one of the tripwires.
Yeah, me too.
God. So I heard a call for some gather information. Was this about Mr. Fitz and how to meet him, or what? What was the story there?
So, what I have written down for my notes is that LaRose frequents the brothels in Silkshore, and that Mr. Fitz is LaRose's contact to Squeeze.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was my shorthand of whatever was actually said, so there's no telling how how that should be actually interpreted.
No, that seems to make sense to me. I think that's accurate.
So we need to figure out a way to lean on Mr. Fitz to get him to roll over on LaRose. I guess is kind of the way to take it.
Mr. Fitz is a pretty high-end individual, right?
He's a noble, so he's got connections, that's for sure.
I mean, we were already pissing off one noble. What's two? We could go put the pressure on this guy, see if he'll rat.
Just out of character. We know a noble. We might go that way.
We do. We do have some diplomatic means.
Go visit Miss Freud. Is Addie Freud? She's a noble, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I was pretty sure that was the case, not just a debutante.
Mm-hmm. An even higher noble than you are, actually.
I imagine so.
Their family is pretty high up there.
What about their position versus the Fitz's?
It seems like they're rivals with each other.
Ooh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clank. I think Addie probably misses you.
Oh, I wasn't saying that as Clink, but
Oh,
Clink,
sorry.
Clink can be back.
Yeah. Addie say something about me?
Yeah, that's what Clink says.
There you go. Yeah. I bumped into Ms. Freud the other night, and yeah, she said something about you. It was pretty flattering.
Did she like the fireworks?
Oh, she did. She didn't stop talking about him.
Oh, I better go see Stasia. Then he walks back out.
All right, so you're thinking about going to give Stasia a visit, huh?
That is their connection to Mix Frog.
It's true.
That's fine.
It's true. So let's see here. You are going to go visit Stasia. Are you bringing anything to her? Or are you just coming to chat? What's the occasion? As far as
I'm
she's
bringing a
concerned?
whole bunch of stuff because I'm going to protect her place of business as well.
Okay, gotcha. So you show up with a whole bunch of booby traps, and I imagine we cut to the middle of the scene with her at her apothecary, and she's like, "No, stop! I do not need all these booby traps for me to trip over, Clank. What are you doing?"
They cornered me. I told you that.
Yes,
And they could be coming for you.
but why? I have the protection of the noble Freud. Why? I don't need these. If they thought I needed them, I would get them. But you, honestly, look at that thing. It's covered in blades. It's got some sort of weird. Is that slime?
Don't touch that.
I'm gonna kill myself in this place now. Do you want me to die, or do you want to protect me?
I want to protect you. Oh, fine. Choose two things, please.
Two? I have to pick two of these things to keep?
And maybe a third.
3. Okay, great. Well, it's going to be 1, okay? And it's not going to be the blade thing because that's ridiculous. I refuse. What's this thing? And she holds up a little device.
Oh, don't touch that. Just careful. Please give that back.
She just freezes with it held at arm's length. That she's like, "Take it out of my hands."
Hey,
And if
Clank
it goes
takes it.
off.
Clank takes it and he says, "Oh, that's not what I thought it was. It's okay.
So what is it?
It's just trash."
Just trash? Well, this is the thing I pick, okay? So you can get rid of all the other stuff.
No.
Those are the rules. We decided on them.
Fine.
She's like, she watches as you take all these things down, and she makes sure you take every one of them down. She doesn't know what any of them do, but she remembers how many you put up, and she makes sure. She counts them off on her fingers. No, there was a 5th one. There was a 5th one, and you're going to find it.
I don't remember.
Clank, if you want more goods, you will find that fifth thing and you will take it down and you will never bring it back to this apothecary again.
Yes, ma'am.
Was there any reason you came by here besides disturbing the peace of my humble establishment, or what? Do you need more amphetamines?
Oh, no, well, you're offering. No, but the reason I came is Benji needs to talk to Mixfroig. It's not me. It's Benji.
Well, it's good it's not you, because I think you're still in the doghouse after what happened a couple of weeks ago.
Can there be a tripwire in this doghouse?
She laughs in spite of herself. She's like, so Benji wants a meeting with Addie, huh?
Something about a Fitz? Someone's got a Fitz? I don't. Honestly, I was not paying attention. Do you know anyone that can pour liquid metal into a mold?
Do you not?
Well, I might. And he walks out.
Okay. So where do you meet up with Benji to tell him that, yeah, Stasia probably can't arrange a meeting?
Probably the next night, because Clank went to the spark plug to see if he could find someone that can cast metal for him.
Okay. And it turns out Benji was there?
I don't know if he's there.
Benji, would you ever find yourself in a bar for mechanics?
I think only because Clank asked him to meet him here.
Okay, so Clank arrives, and what's Benji up to in the spark plug-in?
I think Benji kind of went in thinking that Clank was already there, and he's kind of gotten drug into some kind of discussion or game of dice or something.
It's actually
And
the
these
game.
mechanics are
You
up
have the knife, and you're going really fast between your
There you go.
Yeah, okay. And so, like, you're about to be the next one up, and you have your hand on the table, and you're trying to convince yourself to pick up your knife, and then all of a sudden you see Clank across the room.
You know, I think actually Benji's okay with this because I think this is something that like the people in the Dagger Isles do.
Ah,
Like-
okay.
You know, it's a namesake, you know, kind of game or what. Maybe that's even actually where it came from.
So you're teaching the people a lesson.
Yeah, I gotta school them.
Nice. You want to give
How
me a
it's
roll
gonna
for
fight.
that?
Absolutely.
Let's call this what? Let's call it what action do you want to use?
Finesse sounds like
Yeah.
it might.
I think finesse sounds really
Sleight
good.
of hand.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me that roll. Position and effect aren't going to matter here.
Okay. Yeah. See.
All right, very good. Yeah, so you're really showing them how this works, and there are a couple of people who are actually, you know what? You even get a coin out of it.
Hey.
There was some
sweet.
betting going on, and you really sharked them.
Just doing my thing.
And so, Clank, you come up to see all of these mechanics variously cheering and cursing as Benji starts to collect some coins and bills and stuff that have been laid down for him to pick up.
Tuto, what's happening?
Oh, he's just probably sour. Don't worry about it, Clank. I'll take that. And he kind of like reaches over and scoots the money across the top of the barrel.
And Tuto's like, "Yeah, you're darn right. I'm sore. I'm getting out of here. I'll see you later." And he pushes away from the table and saunters off.
Some of your friends are a little rough.
Well, did you hear if anyone casts metal?
Oh, you know, I meant to ask Tuto about that, and it just.
I'll get him later. He owes me a favor. So, why did I ask you to meet you here again? Oh, that's right. I went to see Stasia, and
Oh, good.
she can get you a meeting with Mixfroig.
Oh, excellent. That's
I-
very good
She
news.
did say that, right? I think that's gonna work.
All right. And how are things with you and Stasia?
Well, she only let me put up one booby trap.
Hey, she let you keep your stuff there. That's a big step.
You know, you're right. Oh shoot, I left something there. Okay. Yep.
Cool. All right.
Maybe for anything else, Benji?
No, I think that's it.
So we can flash forward then to a meeting with.
Clink really wants to know if anyone casts metal.
Oh yeah. Okay. So why don't you gather some information in this bar?
Like that's why he's leaving Benji there, because he's gonna go and talk to people to see who can cast metal for him.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll to see what this looks like here.
There's a reason for all this, guys.
What action are you taking?
I guess it's gonna be consort.
Consort? Okay, yeah. And again, position and effect doesn't matter, so just go ahead and roll, and we'll see how it turns out. 2. All right. Well, you seem to start up kind of a lively debate about who can cast metal the best, and they keep throwing out names. Oh no, Masters is the best at it. Masters is a hack. It's all about Spetsnaz. Yeah, no, Spetsnaz has got it. And it's like, no. Spetsnaz is a rube. What you need to do is go check out Silky Tom. Silky Tom's got the real thing going. But they're not talking to you. They're just arguing with each other. So you've got a bunch of names that you've narrowed this down, but you really haven't reached any conclusions.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so then we find ourselves in a meeting with McFroig and Benji. Jonathan, what are you doing while all this is going on?
Keep forgetting control D is not on mute. I've had some free time. My informants haven't really given me anything back. Our guy kind of piqued my interest.
Which guy is this?
Our guy that told us about secret
Oh,
societies.
gotcha. Yeah.
I've been on a kick with secrets and plans and plots, and I'm trying to see if I can figure anything else out about that.
Okay, yeah, so you want to do some gather information about that?
Yeah.
Cool. So then what question are you asking about these folks?
Actually, that is in my playbook if I can pull it up. How can I get to them?
How can you
Or
get to
actually, no, I don't think it's how can I give them to X rather.
Well, how can I get
How
to
can
them?
how can I find?
Sure. How can you
Yeah.
find them? Okay. Yeah, so go ahead and give me what action are you using to gather this information?
Hunt.
Hunt. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so you're tracking people down, trying to hit the bricks and figure out who might know something about ring down
Yep.
below, whatever it is. Okay, so give me that roll, and again, position and effect don't matter for these purposes. A 6. All right, cool.
Hey.
So here's the deal. You are going to find here we go. You find out that if anybody would know what's up in the docks area, it would be a woman by the name of Triss. And Triss is a somewhat legendary tattoo artist who has a shop on Ink Lane, which is in the northern part of the docks. Triss is the one who only ever works exclusively with Leviathan Hunter folks, and she knows all the gossip about the docks. And you've got room for follow-up questions here, so do you want to go ahead and jump into a quick scene with her where you're chatting, or do you want a little time to gather yourself?
Yeah. It had been previously established that we'd all gone out on a voyage before, I believe.
Yes.
So could she potentially be touching up my tattoo while this is going on?
Oh, sure, yeah. So why don't you tell me then, what tattoo is this?
So for the most part, Jonathan is usually wearing an overcoat with a button-up shirt and tie, so you don't really ever get to see him without his shirt on. But from probably his stomach up onto like his left pectoral and wrapping around the other side is kind of like a a Celtic imagining of, maybe not Celtic. Yeah, Celtic works. So like there is a very like Viking-esque or very ancient style boat kind of rolling on waves, and a demonic picture of one of these leviathans, and maybe like some sort of electric eel behind the ship, kind of all cascading over like a sea scene here.
Very cool. Yeah, so Triss is getting to work, and her tattoo gun is a really pristine instrument, right? You've been in some tattoo parlors before. Or maybe you didn't get tattoos there, but you saw like they are not the cleanest places. And Triss's shop, it's almost like the opposite of the streets. Everything is well ordered. There's no refuse anywhere in the shop. It's well lit, but like in Duskfall, it's still pretty dim by our real life standards. And Triss is just covered in tattoos. And as far as you can tell, as far as the stories you've heard, Triss has always done her own tattoos. She has both of her guns out. She's just wearing like a double-breasted vest, which is her usual attire. And she's also smoking on a cigar. And she's like, yeah, so let me tell you. The guy came in last week. He was he was a Leviathan hunter. First time coming off of the ship, right? And he was not happy. They didn't even find a Leviathan out there. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean that's what I've been hearing is the fields are getting rather scarce with Leviathan and lightning oil.
Yeah, I hear they're working on it, but I hear they haven't found anything yet. So anyway, this tattoo, this is some nice work. Let me tell you. When was the last time you got it touched up?
It's probably been a couple months. I've been pretty busy with some extracurriculars.
Yeah, that's what I hear. That's what I hear. I hear there's a couple of folks in the docks area who are up to no good. Is that one of you?
Hey, if you're saying they're up to no good, that definitely ain't me. I'm only out for the greater good.
Yeah. Okay, all right. The greater good. What kind of greater good are you going for these days, Jonathan?
Hey, don't miss that spot right there.
Oh, no. Don't tell me how to do my job, Black, okay? Let's just get one thing straight right here.
All right, well, then I won't tell you how to gather information on who's good and who's bad.
All right. Well, we're at an impasse. I guess I'll just twiddle away with this needle then.
I'm just busting your chops. You know I love the information you give me. Sitting in this chair's a treat.
Yeah, it is a treat. But yeah, anyway, so she kind of settles back into working and she's making chit chat with you. Do you want to work in these follow-up questions?
Yeah. Kind of getting towards the end of this tattoo session, if you will. I'm kind of gonna slip in. So, ring down below, huh? Does that ring a bell to you?
She's working on the electro ink part of your tattoo now, touching up the shiny bits to make sure they stay shiny. And she stops. Actually, it kind of like jabs into your arm a little bit too much. Jump a little bit. She's like, "What'd you say?"
And I would, Trace, what do you know about the ring down below?
She kind of gives you a narrow eyes, and she's like, "Well, I mean, of course, it's the Leviathan coming up from the deeps."
I mean, yeah, you and I both know that, but what else does it mean?
Tell you what, Black, you wanna grab a drink tonight sometime?
I'll buy.
All right, sounds good. Flash forward, and you're buying a drink, and you're sitting down in the back of this really sketchy, out of the way bar. It's not even in the docks. And she's like, "All right, so you want to know about Ring Down Below, huh?"
I've had a couple of inquiring minds ask me about it, and it would only be fair that I ask my sources before I put in the hard work, I guess, you know.
So I'm your source now, huh?
You could be. Depends on how reliable the information is, love.
All right. Well, let's see here. What do I know about Ring Down Below? You've heard these dockers are trying to organize, right?
I've heard it here and there. Nothing serious yet, to my knowledge.
Well, I mean, of course you know that there's a lot of danger in this city, especially for those who have loose lips. A lot of ships get sunk that way, you know what I mean?
Oh, that I do.
Yeah, well, I can only loosen up so much.
All right, well, hit me with what you got.
All I'm saying is that there are great forces at work in this city, and, well, they hide behind some pretty impressive facades, you know?
All right. Sounds okay. Yeah.
Yeah, if I were some sort of shady group of people, I might find myself looking for two things. I might find myself looking for some money, and I might find myself working for some power. And I don't know. I think if you were to follow those trails, you might find something.
You know, Tris, I truly am thankful for you helping me here today. Tattoo work was beautiful, as always.
I know. Just don't tell anybody about it, because I got too many customers. Okay, it's a nightmare. I'm working round the clock.
Hey, your secret's safe with me.
Good. All right, yeah. Well, Jonathan, it was good seeing you. She gets up and she gives you a really rough kind of hug, and she's like patting you on the back, and she's like, all right, well, you take care of yourself, okay?
Yeah, you too.
She's walking out of the bar then, and you notice that there are a couple other people in the bar where she's like, oh, hey, how's it going over there? And like, she just seems like she's really popular with the Docker crowd. And there aren't many Dockers in this bar, but it seems like all the Dockers in this bar know her.
What a woman.
All right, so we are now in a meeting between Mix Addy Freud and Mr. Benjamin Overstreet.
Clink
So,
came along.
this Clank came along too?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So, Clank, are you setting up more of those damn booby traps?
Maybe?
Here's my question. Are you doing it out in the open, or are you trying to be secretive about it?
Secretive?
Okay, cool. So, Benji doesn't even realize this is happening
Just
yet.
in places that someone might try to sneak in. Not.
But Benji doesn't realize this is happening yet because Clank was so overzealous about it that he came here ahead of time without even meeting up with Benji first. Benji is going to have to find some way to make it from wherever he is to Addy Freud's house unawares. So let's do an action roll for this. How do you want to cover your tracks as you're coming over?
You talking to me or Clank?
Yeah, Benji.
Okay. How to cover my tracks.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm coming to visit her.
Yeah, well, I mean, the blue coats are out and about, and they're still surveilling you pretty heavily.
Oh, I see.
And
Yeah.
I was thinking about it with the canal races. Obviously, people know the boats, but they probably don't know the names of the drivers, and probably don't even know the faces of the drivers. So I wonder if you all wear some sort of mask or something while you're racing.
Possibly. I remember in the last race, especially when we went past the place where LaRose is supposed to have been, or
Uh-huh.
at least we know where he's at. I like specifically turned my collar up.
Yeah.
But yeah, we might have some kind of masks. Maybe like almost like a gothic version of like a Venetian
Yeah.
mask or something.
Very cool. All right. A lot more angular or something.
Right.
Clank was in the bowels of the skiff, so his face wasn't out.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense. And although you might have like a welding mask or something.
That's just how his face looks. But thanks for pointing it out.
His face is a welding mask. Cool. All right.
I actually have an alias written on my sheet that I have had since the beginning, and it's Oil Slick. So I imagine mine might be kind of like almost featureless,
Ah.
like this oil slick, like rainbow, like finish.
Very
on it.
cool. Yeah, I like that. And Jonathan, what kind of mask do you wear whenever you're doing the canal races?
Wear like a reverse Rosach mask,
Cool.
like white blots with black.
I dig
Oh,
it.
can I change mine? My mask looks like Benji.
Mine actually looks like Jenna.
So, Clank, this is your interpretation, your handcrafted interpretation of Benji's face.
It's fine. I can be wearing a welding mask. I'm fine.
Well, maybe it's a welding mask with his face drawn on the front of it, and nobody's noticed because it's such a bad likeness. But anyway, that's
Clank knows. Clank knows in his heart.
Yeah, he does, and he wonders why nobody's ever pointed it out, like how good the likeness is, because it's just baffling to him that people wouldn't. Um, but anyway, so those are the masks that you wear to keep concealed, but this kind of concealment is something completely different. So, Benji, how do you make it to Addy Froig's manor house?
So I'm kind of looking at my character sheet, and I just picked up my first dot in Prowl last time I leveled.
All right.
So I was thinking maybe that.
Trying to skirt your parole.
Maybe. Although Sway could also work. Sway someone with charm, logic, deception, disguise, or bluff.
Ah, so you're just kind of greasing palms or something on your way over. You're.
Or a disguise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm going to go with.
Cool.
I actually disguise myself up to look like a docker.
All right, so you're just a docker walking the streets. Go ahead and give me a roll then. Again, position and effect don't really matter for this.
Okay.
A 4. Okay. So it takes you a little longer than normal to get to the manor, a little longer than you expected, because as you're walking through the streets, you go from Silk Shore through the docks and then over to, what is the name of that neighborhood? White Crown or something like that? Let me just look this up really quick. Brightstone. Brightstone is where a lot of the nobles are. It's just to the east of the docks. And this is where Addy Froig's manor house is located. And in the docks, you actually have to take a side route and double back and lose some pursuers because some Leviathan hunters catch sight of you. And they don't realize that you're Benjamin Overstreet, but they know you're a docker out alone. And so they're going to try and rough you up. It takes a little while to lose them. But you eventually arrive at the manor. And Addy's butler opens the door and ushers you in, and you're in the waiting room. And all of a sudden, Addy comes to the staircase up above you, and they're wearing. It's interesting. Triss wears like a double-breasted vest a lot of the time, and Addy is wearing what looks like a vest at first, in the sense that it's got buttons, but then it goes down and it's actually more like a long coat. It doesn't have tails like a tuxedo. It actually comes down and wraps around almost like a dress. And Addy's like, "Oh, Benjamin Overstreet, wonderful to see you there. How are you doing? It's been too long."
I'm doing good, Eddie. Just having to lay low a little bit, you know?
Yes, well, I think you have been lying low ever since you used my boat to light up an entire wharf or two.
Now, to be fair,
You hear allegedly come from the back room.
to be fair, Hutton did have at least some part to play in that.
Oh, what do I care? I love screwing over the Leviathan hunters. It's delightful to me. I'm so pleased you did it. But, of course, it did not go all that smooth. You've been lying low the past week.
No, they've kind of increased their presence, if you will.
Yes. Well, come. We must have tea. We must do that. You must join me for that much. All right. We are nobles after all. We have to keep up appearances.
Maybe with a little something splashed in.
Oh, you rogue, you devil. Let's give it a try, shall we? All right. So, they take you back to the tea room, and the servants are bustling, serving tea and that sort of thing. And they pour the tea, but then while the tea is cooling in the cup, they also pour out lines of spark, which is a type of drug. He's like, "You wanted a little something to go with your tea, did you not?"
Well, maybe just a bit. He kind of he picks up like a part of the line between his fingers and actually just puts it in the tea.
Oh, you know what? I haven't tried that quite yet.
Swirls the glass.
What happens when the spark makes contact with the tea?
What is the spark made of?
It's like a powder. It's like a bluish powder.
Okay, maybe. Okay, so it's actually made from electroplasmic residue.
Okay.
And dried, processed, chopped up real fine, ground up real fine, whatever. So like putting it in the warm tea, like it actually like releases a like a gout of steam, but the steam like looks like a spirit. And there's like
cool.
a kind of a hollow kind of oh
It's like a face, a really long,
yeah,
drawn out face or something.
yeah.
Very cool. All right, yeah. You do that, and Frog is like, ah, an indulgence I've never tried. Heavens to Betsy. Well, let's give this a shot. Sprinkle some spark in there himself or theirself, and he's like, let's give this a shot now. Ooh, it's got a bite, doesn't it?
It takes some getting used to.
And then immediately, Frog is a little zonked, and is like, oh, but it works. Cheers,
to,
my boy.
Here's the education, Eddie.
Yes, education, such a wonderful gift in our blighted city. Now tell me, why have you come to my house? It's been too long, and you are under surveillance, but I understand that you were not detected on your way over.
No, old skills, they die hard. And partially just to see you, Eddie. It has been some time, but to be honest, things are a little dire for us, and I could use some help.
Some help, you say? Yes, well, all is well and good. I happen to be in a position where I am often able to dispense help among the peasantry and among other nobility as well.
There's a particular blue coat who I'm not very fond of, and more appropriately, he's not very fond of me,
Oh.
as he's apt to tell me. But he has a weak spot, and I'm to understand it that Mr. Fitz actually is connected to this soft spot somehow. So,
That awful man. I'm so sorry to hear it.
well, I was wondering if maybe you might be able to put some pressure on him, or maybe have some dirt that could be useful.
On Mr. Fitz? Oh, you've come to the right person. Yes. Let me see here. What sort of leverage do I have on Mr. Fitz? Well, he's a collector. He's a collector of many rare and valuable artifacts, of course. What else might there be? Well, I suppose it doesn't need to be complex. You could always lift one of his artifacts from him and then try to hold it ransom, perhaps.
Yeah, it might not be. It might not be bad.
Very well, very well. And you know what I've heard? That he works with the, what are they called? Those dastardly, the Ministry of Preservation, that's who they are. They handle all of the shipping and everything in the docks. A large portion of it anyway, the stuff that I don't control. Perhaps there's some way you could work with him. Maybe find their books or something. I don't know what you low-life types are up to.
Oh, I wouldn't either.
If there's one thing I love about you, Benji, it's your sense of humor.
Everybody's got to have something.
Everyone's got to have something. Although you've got quite more than just something, and they give you a down-up.
Well, it wouldn't be right. I think Clank might have his eye out for you, Miss Nix Freud.
Clank's got more than his eye out for me.
Well,
You hear allegedly from the back room.
well, I certainly don't want to overstay my welcome. So I appreciate this very much, Eddie. Thank you.
Yes, of course. And you come back any time. There's no such thing as wearing out your welcome when it's the illustrious Benjamin Overstreet coming to my abode. Although,
And
just don't blow anything up while you're here.
At that point, Clink comes in and says, "Did you bitch the pot without me?"
Bitch the pot? Your low-born colloquialisms listen to you. Yes, in fact, we have bitched the pot. Would you like some? And he pours a little bit more tea and sprinkles some spark in it. Okay.
Clink takes it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Whoa! Ooh,
Yeah, quite a bite.
got a kick.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Well, did we find out what we need?
Yeah. I think we have. Once again, Eddie's come through.
Yes, well, and perhaps it's time for a certain Mr. Overstreet to come through for Addy. Tell me, I've been told, in these scandalously whispered terms, that Clank has been installing renovations to my manor. Of course, I trust the man implicitly, but perhaps you could tell me what these renovations are?
Oh,
For your
Clank.
safety.
Yeah. Yes. Though you may want to have someone look at them just to double check them. Sometimes they're like the fireworks, and he kind of like pats Addie on the hand.
Oh, oh, Clank, have you been installing those dastardly fireworks indoors? Do you realize what kind of trouble they've caused me over the past week?
No, 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 no. No fireworks indoors.
No fireworks indoors. Well, perhaps I should have my manservants do a check of the grounds all the same. Yes, I think I shall do that right away. Time for you to be off now. Please, go away, go away.
When Clank leaves the room, like, he looks down at the ground and you see him, like, count tiles and is only stepping on certain tiles.
Okay. Benji, does Benji notice this?
I don't think so. I think he's probably trying to make sure that he says an adequate goodbye to Addie. You know, like the expected exchange between nobles before just leaving. So yeah, I don't think he notices it at all.
Okay, yeah. So let's see here. Why don't you make a fortune roll according to your tier? No, yeah, just the one die, and let's see if you set off the booby trap in this place.
Roll fortune. Number of dice. Oops. I clicked 0 dice. I don't know if that's gonna.
It means that you'll roll 2 and take the lower. So I would, yeah, roll it again with just the 1.
Yeah. Okay. A 3.
A 3. Okay, yeah. So you don't manage to see. You do manage to trip one of these booby traps. So, Clank, what's the entryway booby trap that he sets off?
It's a very loud whistle. Like, almost window rattling loud.
Okay. Yeah. So everybody like falls to their knees practically with their hands over their ears. Then it goes away, and
Oh, no, it keeps going for a while. Like, Clank, you can barely hear Clank say, it'll stop eventually.
okay. You can see that Freud is yelling something and seems fairly irate, but I don't think any of you really want to stick around to see what they're saying. So you two shuffle out, and at this point, we're going to take
Clank mouths, you're welcome.
Okay, so at this point, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll do 5 minutes. So what? It's 8:28. Let's just say 8:35. So we'll get a little more than 5 minutes. And yeah, for those of you who are tuning in, thanks so much so far, and stay tuned because we are on the prowl. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Blades in the Dark, Ring Down Below. So we just had a quick break, and before then we had quite a few different plans that have been suggested or discovered or what have you. Just to give a quick recap, we know that Valeris, Jonathan Black's spy friend, is willing to pay for information about Ring Down Below. We know that Triss, the tattoo artist in the docks, told Black that if he wanted to find more information, he should follow the money and he should follow the power. We found out that Benji spoke to Addie Freud about leverage on Mr. Fitz, and Mr. Fitz is a collector who has a collection of really rare and valuable items, and perhaps being able to ransom one of those would be to the advantage. We also heard some stories about maybe doing something with the grinders. We heard about possibly expanding territory. So there are a lot of options on the table. Where is everyone? Let's do this with Jonathan Black. Where is everyone whenever they gather together to discuss this stuff?
I would normally suggest our hideout, but it is currently rigged to shit with various traps of all kinds. So I'm going to say we are actually at the Black as Ink Tavern, I believe it is.
Cool. All right. Yeah, so if I remember correctly, it's kind of a low-ceiling tavern. It's where a lot of the dockers spend their time. And Jonathan is in tight with a lot of these folks. Benji and Clank. Well, Benji is known as the pilot of the Eek to a few of these people, but maybe he's the least known of the three. And then Clank, of course, is a mechanic who's been in and around the docks, so he's known as well. But this is pretty safe territory for you all, for sure.
So I picture it's kind of at like one a booth. This booth is probably like made out of old boat paneling, I imagine.
Yeah.
Like you got like part of like the name of a ship kind of like halfway through the like backrest of this, and there's some like mismatched planking, some like tattered cushiony seats, the kind that like when you sit on them they kind of slide forward, so they're nice to sit on, but it's overall an inconvenience to sit on them in general.
For sure. Yeah, that sounds good. And who's leading the discussion right now?
Clank is distracted. He's doodling on a napkin, but he's not letting anyone see it.
Well, what you got over there, mate?
Nothing.
Right. Well, all right, Benji. How did it go with Miss Freud?
Well, Freud seems to think that our Mr. Fitz is quite the collector, apparently, of rare and interesting items. And he said, they said that maybe we could ransom one of his collectibles. Apparently, he works very closely with the what is that organization called? The ones who check things coming and going from the docks.
Right.
Regulators.
That was the Ministry of
Preservation.
Preservation.
Yeah, that's them.
Ministry of Preservation. All right. I mean, it's getting a little higher up there on the chain than I imagined, but target's a target.
Well, I mean, the Ministry of Preservation is all fine and good, and I'm sure their inspectors are top notch, but they would use dockers to offload and unload the cargo, wouldn't they?
True. I mean, I guess that might mean they wouldn't expect us to come after them.
And
I
there's
mean,
only so many wharves now.
well, I don't anticipate us blowing up a wharf, Clank. We could, like,
No. I mean, we can narrow it down to which one they're going to be at.
Yeah, we could use that as our advantage.
So
Wait.
maybe we have some friends in the dockers, or we pose as dockers ourselves.
Oh, well, we definitely have friends in the dockers, mate.
Maybe they can find out some information about what Mr. Fitz has coming in, and maybe it doesn't make it all the way in.
Right. We'll maybe get a little clever, a box overboard kind of thing, or
Yeah, exactly. Accidents happen.
yeah, exactly. It's the docks. Accidents happen all the time.
I am good at distractions.
Right. It's good at distractions.
Clank, we're not blowing anything else up. Not for a little while, at least.
Yeah, I get you.
It's all right.
No. Seriously, let's not blow anything up.
Yes, seriously.
I can tell if he's being sarcastic or not. So anyway, Benji, we can pilfer one of these artifacts. We can ransom it for some leverage against LaRose. Get him off our asses for all the time, which would be nice because I did a little digging today, and like I have actually like started utilizing Coil's notebook. Like I want to say that like the back 20 pages have been empty, and I started doodling in it just because it was on me or something like that. So all
Is
right.
it black? That's
It
not.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So I did a little bit of digging about the ring down below.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more than just one of the sayings they say out on the sea. It's actually, believe it or not, what our informant told us. It's potentially a secret society, and I have it on fairly confident resources here that this may actually be a thing here in the docks. And I know you're among the paranoid types, so you might find it as fascinating as I do, but I mean, going forward, this might be a rather huge opposition to what we have going for us right now, especially with Leviathan on us.
You think that they would be standing against us?
Well, I'm certain they don't want us taking their money. What my source said was, if we follow the power, we follow the money, we'll find what we're looking for.
Okay.
What I'm looking for. I won't tie you lot in with me. Just
Black, come on. We're in all of this together. You guys are helping me take down LaRose, and that's certainly a favor that I owe you.
all right. I don't like to assume, it makes asses out of you and me.
Well, most of us are already asses.
That's true. Welcome to the docks.
Clank looks
right?
up and says, "What? You talking about me?"
Yes, all of us. Clank.
Yeah, actually, we
Collectively.
were talking about.
Okay. And he starts
So-
drawing again.
What exactly does it mean to go after the money and the power? The money and the power of what? Exactly.
Well, I don't know necessarily if we want to go sticking our necks taking the money and the power just yet, but we can follow it at least, figure out who's pulling the strings here on the docks. I feel like overall that will be our end game here.
So follow the money and the power here at the docks. All right. Well, we followed the power up to Dava. And Dava disappeared.
That's what I'm saying, mate. Disappeared.
Coil also disappeared.
Where's he go? Where are they gonna go? There's ghosts, there's monsters, there's demons. You don't just go.
So you think we should try to track down Dava?
I mean, it's a viable. I guess I wouldn't even say viable. It's an option. Right now, I think we should be planning more with this artifact heist we got going. Just something to think about going forward.
Yeah. I think if we're not going to move on Fitz, then Dava's disappearance might be the next best thing.
Well, like I said, I'd rather get one. We don't need eyes on us looking for these people, mate. Let's take care of the eyes first. We'll handle the Rose. We'll get Fitz to put the pressure on the Rose to get off us. That'll open us up for some better opportunities, I would imagine. So we'll take this one step at a time.
All right. Clank, what do you think?
think I'm gonna like this. And he's looking at his picture.
Can I try and snatch it from you?
Could be like an opposed roll, sure.
Because what?
Yeah, how do you do?
Well,
how would you do that?
you would pick so Black. Which action would you be rolling to try and grab it?
Probably skirmish.
Skirmish.
I guess I'll do finesse to keep it from him.
Sure, finesse or skirmish, either one, yeah. So just give me opposed rolls. Position and effect doesn't matter, and whoever's higher gets the thing in the end.
Oh boy.
Ooh, sneaky, sneaky. All right, so Jonathan rolled a 6 and Clank rolled a 4.
So it's like the loud like on the tables. I like snatched away from him and try and figure out what this doodle is.
What's it look like?
There's lots of like mechanical jargon on there and measurements and an outline of something, but I don't know if you can tell what it is.
I probably can't. So I'm gonna.
But it's clearly like a sketch diagram or something.
Yep.
Cool.
But Clink's gonna like, don't show anyone.
So,
And tries to get it back.
yeah, I'll give it back to you. I was just giving you a rough time, man. I'm sorry.
All right, so you are all getting ready to go on a score, and I think you said that you wanted to do this heist for Mr. Fitz or against Mr. Fitz.
That was my vote.
Okay. Cool. All right, so let's do some engagement then for this. First thing to do is to decide on the plan and the details. So you've got the different types of plans on your character sheet, I believe. And if it's not there, then it's on the crew sheet.
Stealth?
I kind of like what Jeremy was talking about before. Like, we could do stealth like an entry point. We know where something he wants is going to come in, and we just waylay it or replace it with something else.
Yeah, I will say if you do sabotage in the docks, just to remind you, that's your hunting grounds. And if you do sabotage in the docks, which is defined as destroying something to make things harder for your opponent, then you get +1 die when doing gathering information ahead of time, and you get what's the other thing? I think an additional downtime activity, a free downtime activity to prepare for it as well.
So we should probably blow something up.
I thought I was told not to do that. Sabotage isn't necessarily blowing something up. I can.
Oh, I mean, he said destroy. It's player
Oh,
strength.
There's other ways to destroy things.
Fair enough.
All right, so we have with it in mind that you want to do some sort of sabotage. Do you still want to stick with a stealth plan? That's viable. I'm just curious if you have other ideas now that we've refined that a little bit.
Would deception apply more?
Nope, I like stealth, really.
Okay.
Because I like the idea of we're trying to lay low, so we don't want people to know it's us.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the idea of trying to find whatever package he's expecting and replacing it with something could be a little destructive. And with like some sort of ransom note saying, if you want your actual item, do such and such.
Okay.
Like it.
Cool. So if we look down at the bottom of the game board in Roll20, you can see that there are a couple of locations mentioned on the map. We've got number 1 is the North Hook Company. Number 2 is Ink Lane, which is where Triss was located. Number 3 is Saltfords, which is a bank. And number 4 is the Menagerie, which is the place that you sabotaged in the last couple of sessions.
Wait a minute. You're missing a word there.
What allegedly sabotaged.
There you go.
Sorry, I'm so mistaken. The North Hook Company is a shipping company. North Hook is another one of the names for Doskval. It's a nickname that was given by naval soldiers as they were coming through and doing the first survey of the area. And so the North Hook Company is a shipping company that has its hands in all kinds of endeavors. Would any of these seem like likely locations to do your heist, or do you want to invent a location entirely new?
I would think that he's a collector of rare things, maybe somewhat illicit. So he might want to use a dock that's not as well known.
Ah, okay. So this is just a random dock somewhere, maybe a concealed one or something.
Or, I mean, it's used for shipping, but it's not one that has as many people around it, maybe.
You know, maybe it's a lesser known publicly, but well known on like the illicit market.
Mm.
Like this is like maybe almost strictly what they actually do.
Okay. Yeah, and so I'm thinking earlier it was mentioned that the grinders are chilling out in a dilapidated part of the district, so maybe that's where this dock is located. It's somewhere that's a little run down, a little out of the way, something that is well known to the right people, but kind of tucked away from everyone else.
Well, what a way to make that more difficult, Eli. Thank you so much.
Okay, cool. So our plan is stealth, and our entry point is this out of the way dock. Then,
In the
so
heart of Grinders territory.
yeah. So who's going to take care of the engagement role for this? I believe that's listed on the crew playbook.
I have it open.
Okay. So start with 1 die for sheer luck. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? House Fitz is a tier 3 house, so I think it is definitely bold of you to strike out against them. You also have kind of a shady history, some victories and some stymies with them, so definitely something to consider. But I think regardless, you can take 1 die for that. Is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors? Get in, get out. Is that as simple as it is?
I mean, Clink can make it complicated if you want. But...
And I'm sure he will. So I think I'm comfortable letting you keep a die there unless somebody has any particular ideas. Okay, so we're at 2 dice so far. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest?
I think so. Textbook.
Okay. Alrighty then, and
so that takes it to 3.
yes, it takes it to 3. And I just realized I didn't give you all an opportunity to do the gather information or to do the free downtime activity if you're actually going to sabotage in this same thing. Are you still thinking about doing that, or what?
I mean,
I
yeah.
don't know what you mean, like, sabotage. Like, my idea is to, like, replace his package with something else. I feel like that's sabotage.
You're going to use your downtime as making an item.
Yeah, the thing is about the sabotage definition is that the exact definition is, let me pull up the crew playbook, I've got it written there. It is hurt an opponent by destroying something. So if you want to fulfill the sabotage thing, then you have to destroy something.
Physically?
Well, yeah. I'm open to interpretation as far as that goes, but what's your idea?
Conversion, that is a type of destruction. We are converting his personal property to our use.
All right, we got some legalese going on here. That's...
Well, I mean, like, we might be destroying the reputation of this shipping company.
Oh, yeah, if you can make it a really publicized thing.
Like, they let this happen.
It is grinder territory.
Yeah. Okay.
So...
Yeah, so it sounds like this plan is starting to come together then at a dilapidated dock in the docks. And so we've got a vulnerability of the target is that this dock is well known to the right people, but otherwise tucked out of the way. So maybe that does give you a die because it's inconspicuous. I don't know if that really counts as exposing a vulnerability. Maybe it does.
Well, I think it's probably because it's potential. Well, I guess just because it's illicit goods, it doesn't necessarily expose it.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be the threat, though. If he doesn't return, if he doesn't pony up the ransom, then we let the Bluecoats in on what he's doing.
Ah, okay. So sabotaging him by destroying like a dead drop that he's got, basically.
We're sabotaging his collection.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll let you take another die there. You can get some leverage, some additional leverage because of that. Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have particular defenses or special preparations? I think they have general defenses, but probably not particular defenses. They're not expecting you guys to come attack them right now. So I think that is 3 dice total so far.
I have 4. I'm really confused because you're not saying like take 1 or give 1 each time.
Sorry. Okay, so you start with 1. Is the operation bold or daring? Take 1 die in addition, and you do. And then is this operation overly complex? It's not, so you don't subtract a die. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability? It does. Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have particular defenses? They don't, and so it's still just at 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about our downtime stuff though? Because you went back to that, but then you went back to this.
Yeah, it's true. I am loath to kind of stop the engagement roll mid
Okay,
calculation.
That's fine.
So how about we do
We
this?
just
We
flashback it if we need it.
Well, let's determine how many. Let's determine like how many dice you're going to roll for the engagement, and then we'll jump back and do those gather information and downtime things. Cool. So, can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation?
I think so. Our Docker cohorts can.
Oh, for sure. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So go ahead and take another die. This will take you up to 4. Are any enemies or rivals interfering in the operation?
Yes.
Absolutely. The grinders are going to be there, and they've got a bone to pick with you all. So that takes you back down to 3. And then are there any other elements that you want to consider? Tier, location, etc.?
I mean, we are familiar with the docks.
Yeah, you had said the location had some kind of bearing. The fact that it's our stomping grounds.
Yeah, because it's your hunting grounds. I'll let you take an additional die for that, for sure. I already mentioned that the House of Fitz is a higher tier than you, so that's already been accounted for. I think that's it. So I think we're at 4 dice now. Yeah. So we know we're going to be rolling 4 dice. Everyone remember, 4 dice now.
Hold on. I come up there. So wasn't there something about? Okay, so if we do a sabotage, we get an extra downtime, and you said we get an extra die and gather information.
Yes, yeah. So if
Okay.
you want to do a gather information thing really quick, I'll give you an additional die for whatever you roll. And then you also can have a free downtime activity to like acquire an asset or whatever you want to do. So let's do this gather information first. Who wants to do it, and what question are they asking? Benji, all right. And what information do you want to gather about this score?
Yeah, so I have weaving the web.
Mm-hmm.
I gain an extra die to consort when I gather information on a target for a score.
Ah, perfect.
And I also get an extra die to the engagement roll for that operation.
Oh my god. Okay, so what is your consort?
Let me see here. Consort with connections from my heritage, background, friends, or rivals to gain access to resources. Okay. So does it have to be one of the friends like on my sheet, or could it be like Addie Freud?
Absolutely, yeah, it could be Addie. That's a contact that you have on the crew playbook.
Okay. So I think maybe Addie knows something about this dock, somebody who, works there, or some kind of like clearance or access information or something like that, maybe.
Sure. Okay, so what question are you asking then?
Those are on my sheet.
And you're not limited to those, but they're nice guides anyway.
Right. Okay. Okay. So my third question is, what's the leverage here?
The leverage, okay. Cool. All right. So then you're rolling consort. How many dice is that?
Consort. I have 2 pips in.
Okay. And then +1 die for the sabotage and +1 die for weaving the web. So you're going to be rolling
Wow.
4 dice for this thing.
Okay, so there'll be 2 bonus dice.
Yeah. And position and effect don't matter.
Okay, no position.
And you want to know what's the leverage here. Cool.
Yeah, kind of how we get into this place. How we, what's our in?
Okay, so you're not necessarily asking what's the leverage, like what specific way can I get leverage on Mr. Fitz, but you're asking like what's the leverage for us to get to this location ahead of time or something.
Yeah, because I think we know that the item itself is going to be, hopefully, the leverage for Mr. Fitz.
Yeah.
At least that's the hope.
Sure.
Okay.
That makes sense. So go ahead and give me that roll then. Yes! 2 6s. That's a critical. Okay, let me just remind myself what gather information criticals are like because that is something. Let's see here.
Benji sees the future.
Yeah, no joke. Consequences and harm, resistance and armor, fortune, gathering information. There is no result for critical, so I'm just going to say it's even better than exceptional. So you know that this deal is going down between Mr. Fitz and the North Hook Company, kind of under the radar because Mr. Fitz is officially affiliated with the Ministry of Preservation. And getting something from a competitor like the North Hook Company would be a real problem. More leverage that you found out is that through your miraculous consorting, this was with Addie, I take it?
Yeah, that's who I had decided to try help.
Okay.
Try getting help from.
Cool. And I think it was probably at a party, and so there was a lot of mingling, and you had the chance to talk to some other people that maybe Addie could introduce to you.
We went to another ad party.
Lifestyles of the rich and famous, man. So you get to this party and you find out that not only is Mr. Fitz dealing with the North Hook Company, but this actually isn't as big of a scandal as you thought, or at least not for the reason that you thought. Because you see, the North Hook Company is a front for the Ministry of Preservation to do some additional business that is not sanctioned by the city.
Oh, damn.
And so by finding out that the North Hook Company was involved and digging a little deeper, you found out that it's actually some like black market stuff that's going on. So you have an opportunity to blackmail some people involved with this too. And maybe that's your in for sabotage. So you've got that information. You also get 1 free downtime activity in advance right now to prepare for this thing. So as a reminder of your downtime activities, acquire asset, long-term project, recover, reduce heat, train, indulge vice. You've got some options here.
How's everybody's strain doing?
I've got 3 stress, but I'm 3 ticks away from my blinding light tech. Of course, I still have to craft it, so maybe that won't work.
It would get you closer to it anyway, but it wouldn't actually affect this score.
Yeah, so I was hoping to be able to get used it this time, but that won't work.
Maybe reduce your stress before heading in.
Well, if he overindulges his vice, that could be bad, though. He's only got the 3 stress, so usually you want to wait until you've got 5 or 6 before you indulge.
What could we acquire as an asset?
Could be a gadget. Yeah, that could definitely be a way to go.
Can I acquire more whistles? Really loud whistles?
Sure, yeah, if you want to. So you'll roll the cruise tier, and the result indicates the quality of the asset.
The cruise tier.
Wait.
What do you got, Benji?
What if we spend the downtime activity acquiring like North Hook Company uniforms or something?
Oh, okay.
Ooh, yeah, that could be really good. So you're just gonna
That'd be good.
do like a bait and switch or something.
Like, so I mean, it might make getting in and out of there much easier.
For sure.
Can I use later without acquiring them now?
Can you do what?
Can I use really loud whistles later without acquiring them now?
Yeah. You can always
I
spend
can
coin
tinker
to.
with the already systems that are in the city. I'm good.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so why don't we do this acquire asset roll then to pick up these North Hook uniforms? So again, it's rolling the cruise tier, which is tier 1. So you're just going to roll 1 die. A 4. Okay, so these are standard. So they're tier 1 equivalent uniforms. Unfortunately, the North Hook Company is a tier 3 company. So these are a little dingy as far as uniforms go. You didn't manage to find the like salesperson uniform. You managed to find like the janitor uniforms or something. However, you can spend coin to bump this result beyond the normal result. It just costs 1 coin per level to be able to do that.
I will actually spend the coin that I got from the ninth game
Ah, okay, cool.
to bump it at least 1 tier.
Okay, so that takes it from standard to fine, which is equivalent to tier 2. So you're not quite up to the salesperson yet, but you're like you have uniforms for like sales assistants or something, scribes or something that will follow
I'm
along.
fine with looking at the janitor.
Okay. And it's fine. Yeah, we could mix it like that too. They are at least tier 2 quality. So it could be there's one person who's got a scribe disguise, another person's got a janitor.
Oh, the scribe. Okay, Clink should be the scribe.
He's been proven to be able to write. This session, in fact.
I'll be the janitor.
Okay. And Benji, you're comfortable being like a scribe or something tier 2?
Yeah. I think
Okay.
like maybe somebody carrying around like a fake manifest or something.
Absolutely.
And then some people to help me lift.
Sounds good. And Jonathan Black, what kind of outfit are you wearing here? Somebody who's 2nd or 3rd rank.
I picture like the standard uniform. Maybe like I got one of the extra stripes on one arm to elicit like, oh, he's okay to take on jobs better than the low grunt tier.
Sure. So you're maybe like a porter or something. You're just like a crew
Yeah.
chief on the porters. Cool. All right, so we've got these costumes, and we know that we're rolling 4 dice for the engagement roll, but we also know that thanks to weaving the web, we get an additional die. So that's 5 dice total for the engagement roll. Let's roll and figure out what we're looking at here. Oh man, that's 4 6s.
Is that even possible?
It is possible. Only 2 of them count, but I
Hell
am
yes,
I am
Derek.
personally stunned into silence by that roll.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
Moment of
Take
silence,
some of those.
if you please.
That is fantastic.
Okay, well, that was pretty amazing. So, with a critical, you've already overcome the first obstacle, and you're in a controlled position when you start this. So, what was the first obstacle on this score? What was let's see, Derek, you rolled the engagement roll, so why don't you describe the first obstacle that the crew overcame?
We had to get into the area without the grinders noticing us.
Ah, good point. Good point. So yeah, you managed to get your disguises on, and the grinders are kind of just wantonly destroying things, but they're especially looking for the crew of the Eek. And because you're disguised, you managed to slip past without too much notice.
Okay, I have a flashback later, I guess.
Okay. Now, here's another question. Are you going to try and preempt the other, like the North Hook Company employees who are showing up, or are you going to try and knock them out and take their costumes? Is that how you got a hold of them? What's the deal?
I think we're gonna leave it to Benji to like convince them like, what are they doing here? We're the ones that's supposed to do this, and if they like say like we're gonna tell them like they showed up when they weren't supposed to, like trying to collect extra money or something.
Okay. Benji, how do you feel about that?
I mean, it's lying and deceitful, and so I mean that sounds like Benji's bag. So
All right, cool. So what action are you going to use to try and convince these people that they're in the wrong place?
it's probably sway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're swaying. We're in a controlled position, we know. And I think that your effect here is going to be fairly limited. I think these people are professionals. They're high tier professionals. They have timetables and they're sticking to it. So it's going to be kind of tough to convince them that they are actually not in the right place at the right time. So you can trade position for effect. You can, push yourself. You can take a devil's bargain. Do you want to do any of these things?
I will go ahead and push myself.
Okay, sounds good. So you get an additional die, and this is still a controlled position and a potentially limited effect.
Limited effect. Okay. Taking the 2 stress and getting a single bonus die. Come on, baby. Yes!
Nice. Okay, you got a 6. Very good. So you do it. You manage to convince them that you don't manage to convince them that they're entirely in the wrong place, but you do manage to convince them. What limited success do you find? I'm thinking maybe like
I convinced them that the address on their form was filled out incorrectly, and that it's actually an address all the way on the other side of the Northook Company area.
Okay. Yeah. So the worker is like, oh gosh, this is just the worst. We gotta go all the way to the other side.
I'm sorry. I'm sure that if you take a dire goat carriage, that they'll pay you back. They'll reimburse you. I'm sure.
Yeah, they better. I'm telling you, this is shoddy bureaucracy right here. I'm a fan of bureaucracy, but I want it to function.
I understand. I had the same thing happen to me 2 weeks ago, and it took me 3.5 hours to figure it all out.
The bosses, am I right?
Yeah, middle management.
Down with the bosses.
Just the worst. Shut up, janitor. All right. Well, anyway, we're gonna go along. And thanks for clearing this up. I just hope we get there in time.
Me too. Good luck.
So they leave, and it's just in time for the boat to come around the corner with these goods. And so the boat comes up to the dock, and you all are ready to receive them. Jonathan, what are you doing while this is going on?
I have been trying to find a way to get onto the ship, or where the ship is going to dock at specifically.
Okay, yeah. So you are on the docks, I would imagine, maybe hiding behind something. What are you hiding behind?
Probably some more crates.
All right, sounds good. And you're just waiting for the boat to show up so that you can sneak on. The boat does indeed come up there. So how do you? What action do you use to sneak onto this boat?
I'm thinking. Ooh. All right. So I'm thinking finesse. That probably wouldn't work. Probably prowl.
Prowl?
Terrible at prowl. I'm gonna try and prowl on this ship.
Okay. Well, you're in a controlled position, which is nice. You're definitely not the prowler of the group. So I think this is probably also going to be a limited effect. And I just was reminded in our group chat that we forgot to do load for this score. I was determined to get it right this time. Oh well.
Medium for the sake of load.
Medium sounds good. Sounds good.
I went with light myself.
Okay.
I went with normal.
Okay, sounds good. So, all right, back to Jonathan Black trying to sneak onto this thing. Like I said, controlled position, limited effect because you're not super good at this. So, do you want to trade position for effect? Do you want to push yourself?
Could I use climbing gear?
Yeah, climbing gear, I would be willing to let that improve your effect if you can find some way to weave that into your narrative. So it would go from controlled limited to controlled standard.
So, this boat's coming in, and there's like the various like rigging that's hanging off the sides. It's way too tall for me normally. But I've rigged up this like urban grappling hook that's kind of just like 2 bent forks that will catch along this rigging. and the sentinels walk by. I come up from behind the crate, and I get a running start and jump and throw this, and it like tangles itself in the rigging. Pull myself up.
Nice. And you know what? I'm imagining this is actually the magnetic line thrower thing that Clank developed.
Yeah, there we go.
So that would definitely get you up into that standard result territory.
So controlled standard.
Yeah, controlled standard. You're doing prowl. There are no bonus dice or anything.
I have to take the lesser of the two. So.
Oh, you don't have any in prowl? Woof. 4. So it's a 4. Let's see. You do it. Actually, you hesitate. So you withdraw and try a different approach, or else do it with a minor consequence. Do you want to do it, or do you want to withdraw and try something different?
I'll do it. Let's live life dangerously. What's my consequence?
Okay. So let's see. I think you will get up into the rigging, and you're able to sneak onto the boat, but it's going to put you in a risky position because you knock something off, and it alerts people that like something is up in the rigging. Might just, I think like something falls down, you hear somebody like, "Oh, what's that up there?"
Maybe it was like a hammer or something out of my burglary pack, and it splashes into the water.
Sounds good. Okay, so they're looking over the side, and they don't look up at you. Like, "Oh, sound like some nasty fish down there. Well, keep an eye out." And then they can continue on their patrols. So you're up in the rigging. Benji and Clank are a little further down on the dock, and these North Hook officials come off of the boat. They're like, "We have a shipment here for transportation into the city."
Oh yes, it's inventory number 1724.
1724. That's right. You're here to pick it up.
Yes, we're here to intercept it and store it until it's time for delivery.
Intercept it? That's a strange choice of words.
To take it from you.
Yes, well, at any rate, you do have transportation arranged, do you not?
Yes, the carriage should be arriving in about 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
Guess on time, that is.
Have we established Clank at the scene yet?
Clank is sweeping, mopping. He starts going up the gangplank, sweeping.
Okay. You want to call this a sneaky kind of roll to get up there or something?
Yeah, I'm going to call it a prowl.
Okay, sounds good. So controlled position. I think this is standard effect. I mean, janitor's sweep, that's a pretty good cover. It's not trying to be sneaky or anything. It's just doing your job. A 5, okay. Again, you kind of hesitate. There are some people that are bringing crates down off the gangplank, and it's kind of hard for you to get up there. Do you want to push into some complicated territory, some consequential territory, or do you want to hesitate and try something different?
I mean, can I just hesitate and let them pass before I go up there?
You can, yeah. So you hesitate, and we're going to get some other actions in here before you actually manage to make it up into the boat.
Okay.
So let's see. Jonathan, you're up in the rigging right now. Is there anything in particular you want to do?
I'm just waiting for Clank and Benji to get on the ship.
Okay. So you're waiting for that. You do notice that there are some guard patrols that are on this boat. I'm picturing, Jonathan, you said the rigging is taller than you're used to, so this is a fairly large boat. I think it's got sails, but it's also like steam paddle powered. And it's got a crew of up to 20. Right now, it looks like there are at least 4 guards, and then there are 4 or 5 deckhands that are walking around getting crates and that sort of thing organized.
So maybe I will actually try and identify the crate we're looking for.
Oh yeah, great idea. Cool. So what action are you using for that?
Hunt. Hunt seems logical.
All right, yeah, you're really searching it out. You're prowling over the rigging to figure out which one of them it is.
I'm not prowling anymore.
Not prowling. Yeah.
I'm hunting now.
That didn't go so well last time. Good point. Cool. All right, so go ahead and give me that hunt roll. I think you're in a risky position now, but this is potentially great effect. You are a spotter. That's sort of your bread and butter.
5.
A 5. Okay, so risky. You do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer harm, a complication occurs, you have reduced effect, you end up in a desperate position. I think you spot the crate. It's clearly labeled amongst a bunch of crates that are supposed to be going to Mr. Fitz. But because there are a bunch of crates, it's going to take some time to figure out which one exactly is the one that you're trying to boost. Which one would have the most valuable item inside. So you spot that while Benji is continuing to talk to the North Hook Company folks. So Benji, they are doing paperwork with you, and the one guy seems to be getting a little fidgety. It's been a couple of minutes, and he's like, I'm sorry, but I don't see the carriage here. It's company policy that carriages and other transportation are supposed to be at the site, ready for delivery when the shipment arrives.
Yes, and again, we told the driver when to be here, and we paid him, but you know how that goes. I can't make him drive any faster.
Did you not go through the standard North Hook Company carriage service?
I tried, but they said that they were all booked. So, I mean, I know it's not exactly policy, but I did what I had to, and I hired one myself.
That is highly unorthodox. I'm sorry, what is your registration number again?
Look, I understand. And he's going to kind of give it to him. And then he's going to say, just for a moment, maybe we should just take a break. He's actually going to, one of the things I have on my playbook under my items is a fine bottle of whiskey.
Oh, okay.
He's going to produce that. Say, look, I understand that this makes your job more difficult, and it's already been a bit of a headache for me. So maybe, and he kind of produces the bottle, maybe somebody doesn't miss this bottle, and we could just call it good between us.
Okay, so what kind of action are you making to try and convince this guy to take this?
I think probably sway again.
Okay, sounds good. And I believe you're still in a controlled position, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
I
so
don't think anything has changed with that.
controlled position, and I think that this is definitely a standard effect for you. Although the fine would bump it up to great. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So controlled position and great effect. Okay. No bonus dice.
Unless you want to push yourself.
Nah.
All right. So 5. You hesitate. Withdraw and try a different approach, or else do it with a minor consequence. What do you want to do?
I think I'm going to take the minor consequence.
Okay. So it turns out that there's a complication. I'm sorry, you have reduced effect. It's not a great effect, it's a standard effect. The doc or the company man who's talking to you looks at the whiskey sort of disapprovingly, and then looks at you and looks down at the whiskey again a little more favorably, and then is like, I don't know what you're trying to pull here, but I do love that particular whiskey, so perhaps come over here and pour me a glass. Let's have a discussion. And so you are going to be able to convince this guy to go away from the docks, but you're going to have to go with him.
Okay. Benji will point at Clank, kind of snap his fingers. You there. What is your name again? Is it Bruce?
Tuto.
Tuto. Tuto. You're in charge for just a moment. Just make sure that nothing blows up. And he completely drops into a serious tone at that.
I'm just sweeping, sir.
And he turns and follows this guy.
Okay, so you follow him out, and Clank, you're just sweeping. What are you gonna do now? You're gonna try and prowl onto this boat again?
Yeah, I'm sweeping my way up.
Okay, sounds good. So you, let's see here. You had a controlled position and a standard effect last time, I believe. Yeah, but it didn't quite work out for you. So
I think yeah, standard effect. Sorry.
Yeah. So you can do it again. I think whenever you just withdrew and tried a different approach. So sweeping your way up the gangplank is not going to work.
How about mopping?
Mopping. How about some other way than the gangplank? Ridiculous. I'm surrounded by clowns.
Okay, well, he'll sweep around the corner to where one of these lines that are holding the ship to the dock, and he will climb the rope up.
That's pretty dexterous. All right. So what action are you going to use for that?
I'm going to prowl.
Prowl. All right. So this is again controlled, and I think this will be. Have we seen Clank be like good at balancing so far?
I have 3 pips on this.
Well, on Prowl, sure, but like, I know that we've seen you like with the magnetic line thrower. You've zipped across on that, but that's not exactly like a slack line or something. I imagined like you're riding on a hook or something. But this, like trying to balance on a rope on the way out there, might be more difficult. Have we seen any evidence so far of him being like really dexterous?
Well,
like that?
I am using my broom to help keep my balance as I go up this.
Okay. You want to check off an item box for that? Because right now you're sitting at controlled limited, so you can trade position for effect, you can use an item, you can push yourself, etc.
What kind of item is this?
I think the situation is that like
an unusual weapon.
an unusual weapon. Okay, sounds good.
Is a quarterstaff with a broom at the bottom.
Wonderful. All right, so you're climbing this thing, and that can definitely take you up to standard from limited. So instead of like crawling halfway this time and halfway the next time, you can make it all the way if you succeed on your roll. So this is Prowl, controlled standard, and a 5. Okay. It says you hesitate, and you can either withdraw or do it with a minor consequence. Do you want to do it this time?
Yes, I want to get up there.
Okay. So let's see here. A minor complication is going to occur. As you're walking along, there's like a thing of moss or something on the rope, and you hit it with your foot, and it falls off into the water with this big wet slap. And some of the you manage to get onto the boat, but there are some of the guards who come over and start looking in the water, and they're like, "God, it's the second splash we've heard. There's got to be something serious." Yeah.
Well, Clank looks over with them. Says, "I heard that too."
You're just the janitor. Okay, they're like, "Oh, God, what are you doing over there?"
Sweeping.
We'll get back to work, and they start going on their patrol again. So, Jonathan, you're looking down on this whole thing, and you can see that Clank is now on the boat, not in the position where he was supposed to be, but he's on the boat, and Benji is walking away from the boat with the North Hook people.
Was there anyone around Clank, or is he?
Yeah, there were 2 guards who came up and talked to him for a little bit, and then they walked off in a different direction, kind of continuing their patrol route.
So could I meet up with him?
Sure, yeah. So you're gonna like slink down over to where he is.
Yep.
Cool. What action are you using for that? Actually, we don't need an action for that. So you sneak down to him, and you meet up with Clank.
Did you find the box?
I found boxes.
Lead me to him.
I would like to show Clank to where I had been looking through. I hunt again, maybe?
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, go ahead and give me a hunt roll. This is to like move over to that area.
Yeah, to go back to searching.
I think that'll work. Hunt a target, gather information, attack with precision, shooting from a distance. Maybe Prowl would work better, but you can do like he could definitely like assist you in this if he takes 1 stress, and then you get a die, and that way at least you're not rolling 2 and taking the least.
Okay. Then yeah.
I'll do that.
I mean, would that count as his move? Or
No, he can still act if he wants to. This is just your prowl roll, and you'll roll 1 die this time.
okay,
So I think it's
risky.
you're risky for sure, and this can be a standard effect, and you will just add 1 bonus die at the end of it.
Nice. Miserable failure.
That's terrible. That's really too bad. So risky with a 2, things go badly. You suffer harm, a complication occurs, you end up in a desperate position, you lose this opportunity. So I think what happens, you come around a corner trying to sneak between these crates, and then you run right into...
Hey, sorry, Baron, you can resist these too.
Yes,
Please, don't
yeah.
forget.
Okay.
But you come around the corner, and the both of you run right into 2 guards who are on a different patrol route. So do you want to resist this?
Yeah. Let's try to resist.
Okay. So you will roll then for prowess, I think, is the one that's connected to prowl.
Yep.
And let's see how it goes. All right, 6 minus 5 stress. So just the 1 stress. Well done. So you're about to step out into this aisle, and then you remember, oh, I know the guard patrol's here. And so you grab Clank and like press backwards, and the guards pass within inches of where the 2 of you are.
Oh, fuck. Almost got caught there, mate.
Just sweeping.
But you eventually make it over to these crates without a problem. There are 6 different crates, all with the seal of House Fitz on them, and you're not sure which one is the one you're supposed to get.
I shall tinker.
You're tinkering to, like, open the boxes?
Yep.
Okay.
Fine tinkering tools.
Okay, so that'll improve your effect. And I think you were in a risky position. Is that right? Or were
Nope,
you
I'm
still controlled?
controlled.
Okay, so you're in a controlled position, and it would be a standard effect because this is... You're good at this, but it's also on a boat, and like these crates, I imagine, are just nailed shut, so it's kind of a loud thing. But because you have fine tinkering tools, it'll get you up to a great effect. So controlled, great, right now. Ooh, a 3. You falter. Press on by seizing a risky opportunity or withdraw and try a different approach. So do you want to go down to risky?
Yeah, I'll go to risky.
Okay. So you're trying to get these open, and the fine tinkering tools are working. They're just taking a long time. So if you want to be able to open these, you're going to have to do it pretty quickly before the guard patrol comes back around. And that's the risk that's involved here. You no longer have time on your side.
Okay.
So go ahead and give me this tinker roll again. It's now risky with a great effect.
Can I trade position for effect here and go down to desperate?
To go up to exceptional? Yeah, sure. How are you making it harder for yourself?
I mean, Clank is Clank here.
He's just being brazen.
Like he's dropped his broom and he's trying to get into this, and he's got to be quick. So I'm fine with trading my position for effect here to go down to desperate. And then I'm a daredevil, so I can get an extra dice.
So you get an extra die. Okay, very nice. So you're just like cranking them open. You don't really care about sound or anything else.
Mm-hmm. So I'm desperate position, and you said extreme effect.
Exceptional, yeah.
Oh, well, there's no exceptional. It says standard, limited, great, extreme, and 0.
Yeah, I think extreme then.
I get an extra die. Oh, here goes nothing. Yes!
Oh my god. A critical. Okay, so you do it with increased effect. You crank the lid off of this first box, right? And lucky you, that's the exact one that you need. What's inside this thing?
There's actually something from Scotland in there.
Ah, okay, a Scovlin artifact. All right, and Jonathan Black, what's the Scovlin artifact that's inside there?
Is there anything important about Scotland that I would know?
So it's whenever Leviathan Hunter ships hunt leviathans and get their demon blood. They then take it to Skovlin to be refined into lightning oil, which then comes back to Doskval. And also, Skovlin is like it's basically like, the Highlands type area where there are a lot of wild and uncouth laborer type folk who have recently been subjugated in the Unity Wars.
Benji looks pretty excited about something. Do you have something in mind?
I don't know if this would be feasible or not. I just sent the thing in the group messenger, but I was thinking, since it sounds like Skovland is typically in charge of making the lightning oil, maybe this is something or a machine that would implicate them trying to produce lightning oil here, like taking the business away from Skovland.
Okay. Yeah, that could be good. That would tie in with a lot. But it's also a pretty big object. So the other part of your increased effect, normally it would be a bad thing to find that the object is this huge, the thing that you're trying to boost. But lucky you, the crate has casters on the bottom, and you can just roll it right out of here.
Well, my plan was just to like take part of it. So is there something that's like a key component that?
Oh, so you don't even want to take the whole object. You just want to random like a key part that is needed to make the whole thing function.
Or like this thing is the key component to something else. Like they can't make it here, so it has to be imported from Skovlin.
Well, I think it's a big thing. Like because there is no lightning oil production in Doskval. It's all overseas, and I imagine it's a pretty big machine that turns the demon blood into something that can be used as fuel. So there are definitely components that make up this machine, but I don't think it by itself is a small thing. Does that answer your question?
So I don't think there's any way we can get the whole thing out of here.
Well, I mean, you could definitely. I mean, the plan was to transport all these crates anyway, and then just to.
Well, I mean, yeah. So he's thinking something. I want to take a key component of it.
Okay.
Like, my plan is to replace it with a dummy thing with our notes saying, if you want this back, you have to do this thing.
Ah.
And once they get off the boat, we're gonna try to deliver it, but the grinders are going to steal it.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, walk me through this plan. You said you want to switch out this key component with a fake and a note
just with
a ransom.
Yeah.
But then you want the grinders to steal this object away from Mr. Fitz so that he doesn't have it in the first place, or?
Well, make it seem like they're trying to steal it.
Ah, okay, cool. Okay. So, is this a flashback to craft this fake component that won't work?
I mean, it's not. I'm just going to take something and say, well, I'm going to use my skills to figure out what is necessary that they can't make here, and leave the ransom note.
Okay, gotcha. I don't even know that you need to make a roll for that. Then I think you can just you're a tinker extraordinaire. You know the stuff backwards and forwards. So you find like the activator valve.
Yeah, and it might be a couple of things, like small things that are necessary.
Sure. Yeah. So they couldn't even like just manufacture a part. They would have to identify all the little pieces that are missing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, then I think this is a wreck roll to make sure that you do this. And this is interesting. You're not wrecking it to destroy it. You're wrecking it to make it unusable.
I am a saboteur.
Yeah. And so a potential negative consequence then would be like if you roll poorly enough, then maybe you do break it.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So your position is desperate because the guards are still right around the corner.
Okay.
Your effect is, I think, standard because this is quick work.
I have fine wrecking tools.
Okay, so you've got your wrecking tools. You're going to make this work. You can go up to great effect, desperate and great.
And I get an extra dice.
If you decide not to resist the consequences, right?
Well, I get an extra die, but I get a -1 die to resist.
Oh, okay. That's right. Okay.
Here we go. Oh. Actually, now we go. Yes!
Oh my god, 2 more 6s. Okay, so You do it with increased effect again. Yeah, you managed to find several pieces that are necessary for the functioning of this machine, and lo and behold, you've got replications of all of them that don't do a damn thing. So you install these back on the thing, and the guards are like on your heels now, though. Like it's to the point where I don't think you can actually effectively sneak away. You've burned up all your time.
I'm closing it and I'm sweeping away.
Okay, what about Jonathan Black?
He now has the components, by the way.
Why on earth did I take the components? Actually, I'm gonna try and consort, maybe.
Ah, okay.
They're like you said, they're right up on us. So I think my walking up to them maybe gives Clank the opportunity to get away.
Okay, gotcha. And so let's see here. Consorting lets you gain access to resources, information, people, or places. So it lets you gain access to a place, like this place, for example.
Yeah.
And its connections from your heritage, background, friends, or rivals. So I think before you roll, this is what I'm picturing. Clank needs to make a roll to escape unnoticed or inconspicuously. And if your action, Jonathan, is to help Clank escape, then maybe you can do an assist with Clank's roll, where you take 1 stress and you give Clank an additional die.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Clank, what action are you taking to get away? Is it prowl or what?
I was gonna say sweeping. Yeah, he's gonna prowl.
Okay, cool. So you're prowling away with your broom.
Desperate position still, he said.
Desperate position. I think this will be standard effect. And Jonathan's giving you a bonus die, yeah.
So, bonus die.
Jeez,
Oh
2 6s again. Yeah, so
I
they
needed
think
that one though, Baron. That's thanks to you.
they really
I
believe
got you.
that you are a janitor. And in fact, whenever you try to get off the boat, they don't let you off the boat because they're like, you forgot to sweep that corner over there. Go back and do it. But you do, and then you get off the boat just fine. So, Jonathan, now it's your turn to consort with these guards as Clank is making his getaway.
Okay, maybe I kept the components then, because that makes sense. If he was going to walk up to them, I wouldn't have given him the components.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure. Okay, so, Jonathan, you need to consort with these people to get them off your back.
Oh, sorry about that, mates. Almost walked right into you. Let me sneak past. Oh my god. Are you from Akaros? My family is from Akaros. You look very Akarosy.
I love this action. I really want to see how this roll turns out. So you're in a desperate position or a risky position?
I'm in risky.
Okay. Actually, no. I think you both went down to desperate whenever time was running out. So you are still in a desperate position.
Yeah, I'm in desperate.
But
that means I'm gonna get up here.
I'm gonna give this a standard effect. So do you want to like push yourself or trade position for effect or anything like that?
I'll push myself for a better effect.
Okay, so that's 2 stress for 1 die.
Yeah.
And we're consorting. Let's see how this turns out.
Desperate. Great. Wow.
Oh my god.
All right.
Okay, it's the worst outcome. So the guy is gonna be like,
So this guy actually hates people from Akaros.
he's like, we're all from Akaros, and you are not from this boat. And then he's gonna pull out his truncheon and beat you over the head with it unless you resist it.
Yeah, I'll resist.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no.
So that would be severe harm.
yeah.
That would be level 3 harm. So it would be like
no.
you're brained
I have
by
to-
this guy.
I have to resist it.
Okay. So give me some. What would that be? Resolve?
Consort. Ugh.
Let's see. Resolve to resist.
Ah!
A
Yes.
6. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, you managed to dodge out of the way of this guy's truncheon, and how do you respond? What do you do? Well, actually, you dodge out of the way of the guy's truncheon, and meanwhile, back on the docks, Benji has been drinking with this North Company man, and the North Company man is like he's starting to get a little tipsy at this point. But he's like, I thought you told me that there was going to be a carriage here, and it's been 5 minutes since then, and there's still no carriage.
No, like I said, I hired the man. I asked him to be here. I told him what time he was supposed to be here. And these people, you just can't trust, you know.
Can't
I have
trust.
another item on my playbook that I would like to employ. It's a vial of slumber essence.
Oh, okay.
So I think as I'm pouring both of us a new glass, I'm just going to kind of palm this thing, open the vial, and as I'm pouring the whiskey in his glass, also dump the contents of this vial in, kind of just nonchalantly kind of stir it a little, and then bring it back to him as I pour myself another.
Yeah, I like it. So, are you finessing this then?
Probably. Sleight of hand, I think, falls under finesse.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So you are in a risky position here because it's not company policy to be drinking like this, and also you're right in front of the guy. And I think the effect will be standard. This is a risky standard action. Do you want to push yourself or trade position for effect or anything like that?
I think I'm going to push myself again.
Okay, sounds good. So go ahead and give me that roll.
Bonus die. Do italics don't count for load? Oh, okay, cool. But I don't think it has any bearing on the dice or anything. Okay.
Was it? I'm sorry. You said what the item was a. Oh.
Vial of slumber essence.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't affect your tier, your effect or anything,
Okay.
unless it says fine.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
A 5. Okay, you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer harm, a complication occurs, you have reduced effect, you end up in a desperate position. This is going to be a complication, and it's going to be a fairly significant complication. The carriage is supposed to be here by now, and you don't know why it's late. And so this guy, you do manage to palm the slumber essence inside this guy's whiskey, but also all of a sudden you hear the sounds of shouting coming from down the street, and you realize there's some sort of altercation going on down there. And so what I'm actually going to do is create a clock, and this clock will be grinders destroy the carriage.
Can I do a flashback?
Sure.
Well, I guess I want the grinders to do something because I want them. Actually, I'm okay with the grinders destroying the carriage. Like,
Okay, well, we can do that.
never mind.
All right.
I'll do it. I'll do a flashback later if I want.
I'm going to say this is a 6 o'clock. Grinders destroy carriage. Every round, I'm going to roll dice according to their tier, which is 2 dice, and we'll see how close they get. This is the first round, so here is 2 dice. The note is grinders destroy carriage. So that's going to be a 3, which is just 1 pip on there. So right now we've got 1 pip on grinders destroy the carriage. So you are palming this drink. The guy drinks it, and within a minute he's starting to really get slurred. The other 2 North Company employees who are there are kind of looking askance at him. And then eventually the guy just falls over. And one of the employees looks down and he's like, ugh. What a drunk.
He kind of shakes his head. I guess he couldn't handle his liquor as well as he thought he could.
Yeah, clearly not.
Should I call a second carriage?
No, tell you what, we'll take care of him. So they both like grab him over the arms and start to walk him back toward the boat. Meanwhile, Jonathan has just avoided the blow of a guard, and there's another guard right next to that first guard, because they travel in pairs, as we've established. So you dodge out of the way of that blow. What's your reaction?
Jonathan's reaction?
Yeah.
I think. Well, I have to react. So, I'm gonna dodge the first blow, and I picture like his weapon like skidding across the crates behind me, and I'm just gonna deck the other guy in the face.
You're just gonna straight punch him.
Yep.
All right, cool. So you've dodged out of the first dude's way, and you're going to punch the second dude. I think you're in a desperate position, and your effect will be... Just for punching that one dude, the effect will be standard. If you were trying to take out both of them at once, it would be a limited effect.
Yeah, I'm just going to punch the one guy.
Okay.
5.
5. Okay, so in a desperate position, you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer severe harm. So you managed to knock this other guy out, right? But the severe harm is coming at you, and the dude with the truncheon is going to come around with the backswing and try and catch you there. So it'll be another level 3 harm being brained unless you want to resist it.
I gotta resist it.
Okay.
4. So
4.
2 more stress.
2 more stress, but you managed to dodge out of the way somehow. How does it look? You just knocked this dude out in front of you, and then you get out of the way just last second.
I think I kind of like tumble with him a little bit. Like I put all my weight into this punch, and like as he falls backwards, I kind of fall onto him, and like the wind of his truncheon kind of like ruffles my jumpsuit a little bit.
Nice.
Barely missing me.
Cool. All right. So, Clank, what are you doing right now? You're getting off the boat?
Yeah, and I mean, he hears the scuffling behind him, and he kind of yells out, "Blimey, it's the Grinders!" And this loud whistling goes off. So now I'm going to do a flashback. And as we were going through the Grinders territory to get here this evening, I was tinkering with some things along the way. I assume that there's like an emergency address system type of something around the city, that when there's an emergency, these loud whistles go off. And that's what he's based his alarm system that went off at Addie Frog's house on. So he's familiar with these, and he rigged it so that he can make it whistle really loud in all the Grinders territory to make them come out.
Okay, cool. So you're actually going to like empty the Grinders into the streets then. It's not just going to be this one group with the carriage.
Right.
Okay. All right, so this would be a tinker roll for sure.
They're stealing the stuff. They're stealing the stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so this would be a tinker roll for sure. I'm trying to decide, you were controlled in your first action?
Now. Huh?
You were controlled in your first action,
yeah.
But you were moving through enemy territory, e.g. the Grinders, and so I think this would downgrade you to a risky position for this roll, for this flashback.
Okay, and how much stress am I taking?
I think it's going to be, well, yeah, hold on just a second. I need to remind
we
myself.
got through it pretty easily.
Right. Flashbacks. There's no position effect with the flashback, I think. Yes. You're right. Good job, Eli. Okay, so I think then it's going to be a 2 stress thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so you manage to place these things, but roll to see how it turns out for you.
Not well.
Not well at all.
So no whistle goes off.
Yeah, it's the whistles, like you can hear them just for a second. They're like, and then they're done.
Okay, well, I'm still gonna yell, "It's the Grinders! It's the Grinders!" And I'm gonna get out of there.
So the janitor is running off the boat, shouting, "It's the grinders." I think what happens is the other guards start to run over and look at what's happening, but they see two guards locked in battle with some sort of mystery person on the boat. So what do you do, Jonathan? How do you what do you do about this?
I've got a lot of stuff that helps me stay in a fight, but not a whole lot of stuff that gets me out of fights without killing somebody.
I mean, maybe you got to kill somebody. I don't
Yeah,
think
that's what-
I don't think we put you in a disguise, did we? I don't think you
No.
ever described.
Well, I have like a jumpsuit, worker dock jumpsuit kind
Okay.
of thing.
Is it a North Hook jumpsuit or is it just the Dockers?
I thought it was North Hook.
Okay, yeah, North Hook sounds good.
I have a pair of fine pistols,
Okay.
and I think hunt is precision shooting from a distance.
So what you could do is roll to escape this situation and just use the pistols because you're also going to attack somebody with that roll. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I have nothing good to get. Would skirmish apply? I guess I just use skirmish.
Skirmish could be like a tactical withdrawal. Sure, you're fighting as you're stepping backward to get off of there.
Yeah. Would it be possible for me to just fall in the water at the end of this? I guess
Sure,
wait
You-
for the.
you could, but the water is dangerous, so just keep that in mind.
I'm not in exactly the same spot right now. either.
So you're gonna
What
make.
about-
So this is gonna be a skirmish attempt to get away from the guards and into the water. Is that right?
Flashback to have a boat there.
Aaron, could
What is it?
you step through the veil?
Can I step through the veil?
Ooh.
Could you use that as a way to escape?
That is a lurk special ability, and you don't have
Oh,
the
maybe
ability,
not.
so you could try it, but it would be a really difficult thing for you to do.
Okay. I do have the. I can compel a ghost to help me.
Oh shoot!
I can attune to the ghost field to force a nearby ghost to appear and obey a command I give it. I think I'm going to do that.
Okay.
And instead of using a fine pair of pistols, I'm going to. I got something for this. Maybe I don't. Actually, maybe add some arcane implements. Would that help me?
Yeah, absolutely. What are these arcane implements that you've got? What kind of
Um,
totems or whatever?
I'm going to say it's like a. Not like a talisman, but like a charm. Like side thing I picked up while hitting the pavement is I still have this ghost companion kind of nagging at me all the time. So like maybe I have like this charm that I've been carrying that keeps him at bay, and I'm gonna just break it, which would kind of remove that barrier for me.
Yeah, that sounds great. So there's a thing in the setting called a Spirit Bane charm, and it does exactly that. It keeps ghosts away.
That is actually what I have.
And so
Bam.
you're just gonna break that and summon a ghost nearby.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So give me that roll then to attune to the ghost field. And
I'm in a desperate position.
desperate position for sure. Effect will be standard because you're getting used to ghostly stuff at this point.
I'm feeling it out. Jeez.
Whew, it's the worst outcome.
Man, God damn it. This happens every time.
So let's see here. You break the Spirit Bane charm, and a ghost is pulled through the ghost field to into this real world. It's a big, burly Docker like porter ghost, except it's translucent and sort of crackling with this tiny little static electricity here and there. And ghosts can't physically interact with the real world, but it's going to reach its hands back, and one of the crates on the boat is going to lift up into the air telekinetically and then fly at all three of you. And so this ghost is helping you out, but you're caught in the crossfire. Again, this is going to be severe harm, crushed, unless you want to roll to resist.
I got roll the resist again.
Okay, let's see how
This
it
is where
goes.
it counts. This is where it counts.
Yeah.
Oh dear. All right, so I have capped my pain threshold, or stress threshold.
Oh,
I
so
have
you get a trauma then?
correct, and then I have 4 pips, or no,
Okay.
3 pips.
Don't you also have a thing that reduces your trauma?
Harm done to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Penalties from.
So let me take a look at your sheet really quick just so that I can see what you're talking about here. You're saying that you have maxed out your stress track,
Correct.
and then you have 3 in addition to that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I took 4 and I was at 1 left.
All right. Cool. So you add a new trauma then. That's 1 to the track, and then you also pick one of those specifically. And pick that out and then describe to us how you get off of or get out of the way of this crate and how that affects you according to your new trauma.
Um, these choices are rough.
Aren't they?
I think cold.
Okay. Yeah, so you've
Um,
you've realized that like the ghosts that hound you, they want to hurt you for some reason. And anytime you're without a spirit bane charm, they're going to try and hurt you, and that sucks.
So I think what it is like as this crate is coming at us and I dive out of the way, there's like some residual, like electroplasmic energy or something that's kind of like the reminiscent of this thing's arm throwing it at us.
Uh-huh.
And like as it touches me, it's like I feel happiness leaving me. Not that I had much to begin with, but like I'm very emotionally just drained and like over this. I'm just done.
All right. And because this is a trauma, you're out for the rest of the scene. So I think you do actually run and jump over the side of the boat into the water. And we're going to have to find out what happens to you in the next scene. So, Benji, you are at the docks and you see that Clank runs past you, talking about the grinders and how the whistles didn't work. And then
No, I'm not talking about the whistles. Like I'm trying to convince people that it's the grinders attacking the boat.
Oh, okay. Well, but the other... So I think Benji's standing alone right now. So would you clue him into it, or would you mistake him for a North Hook employee and just go ahead and tell him?
I mean, that's Benji knows that's the plan, and Clink is just he didn't notice that was Benji.
Okay, sounds good. So then, Benji, you are informed by your crew member that the grinders are attacking. And then you see a ghost show up on the ship, and it throws a crate toward the place where you understood these other things to be.
So, how many guards does it look like are currently around?
Well, there were 2 guards that were killed when the crate fell on top of them. There was 1 other patrol. Yeah, I think I said there were 4 guards total on the ship deck.
Okay, so there's 2 remaining on the ship itself. Were there any that were off of the ship in the dock area where I was?
No, they were just on the ship. You do also realize you haven't seen Black yet.
Right.
He hasn't come off the ship yet.
So, I think I have an idea for 2 actions. But the first, I think, would have to be a flashback.
Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and
So-
do that flashback then. So what is it you're thinking?
Does a flashback cost you stress up front?
Depending on how complex it is or or
Okay.
how risky it would be.
So I think when we rolled so well coming through the grinder territory earlier,
Mm-hmm.
Benji actually palmed a dagger or a knife that is identifiably one of the grinders.
Okay, so
Like some
you
kind of
you
particular
found some
weapon
sort of
they used.
incriminating evidence then.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so go ahead and give me that. I guess that would probably also be finesse.
Yeah, for pickpocketing.
Okay, and I think that if you're going to encounter the grinders that you're trying to avoid during this flashback, then that would definitely be a 2 stress action.
Okay. So the position would be control? Or was it risky?
Position. I think your position doesn't actually matter for a flashback. Position and effect
Oh,
don't.
okay, perfect.
It's kind of just a yes or no thing.
Position, effect, and you said it was 2 stress.
Yeah.
No bonus dice, so... God.
So you managed to palm a knife, but it turns out not to be identifiably like a grinder thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be like traced back to an individual person, but chances aren't very good.
Well, I think that's just going to have to be good enough.
Okay. So your second action then, was that just going to be the leave the dagger?
No. That would be the simplest answer. Benji's vicious, though, and reckless. He's going to go after those 2 remaining guards,
Oh.
and he's going to use this knife to stab and kill both of them.
Oh,
and then
damn.
end it.
Okay. All right. So you need to get onto the boat and attack them. You're doing this by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Black is still on the boat, so it's doubly kind of going on there to try to, help him, to try to get him to escape. He doesn't know that he's already escaped.
I guess you didn't know that.
Yeah.
Eli was just saying that I hadn't seen you yet, so...
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and run up there. And what action are you using to attack these guards?
Let's see. Could... I suppose finesse probably can't be used for an attack.
Finesse would be, I've seen it described as like a dueling skill, a sort of one-on-one formalized kind
Yeah,
of
that certainly would
attack
be it.
roll.
In ambush with close violence, a backstab, throat cutting, blackjack, etc.
Yeah, prowling.
Yeah,
Sounds
I've
good to
only
me.
got 1 die in it, but that sounds like that might be it.
So I think this is a desperate position, running back onto here with like a dagger that isn't really a sure thing.
Sure.
And I think also in terms of the effect, it's going to be limited because you're sneaking up, but are you trying to kill both of them with this one fell swoop? Or I think whether you're doing that or whether you're taking them out one at a time, it's still going to be a pretty limited thing. It's going to be tough.
Okay.
If your goal is to stay hidden, that is.
Desperate. Okay, so desperate. Okay, if I make a devil's bargain,
Mm-hmm.
what does that do again?
You can either add a die or you can increase effect or position.
I'm good with it being a desperate position, but I think I want to increase the effect from limited to standard.
Okay, yeah, that would make it from one of the 2 dying to both of them dying.
Okay.
Cool.
So it would be from limited to standard. So yeah,
So-
what is the devil's bargain?
The devil's bargain would be that the ghost spots you, and you would need to resist being terrified of the ghost.
Okay.
Okay. So go ahead and add your effect there. So you're now at desperate standard, and give me that prowl roll. And then even if you succeed, there will be a consequence that the ghost comes after you next.
Oh God. 2.
A 2. It's the worst outcome. You suffer severe harm, a serious complication occurs, you lose this opportunity for action. I think you don't suffer severe harm. You're going to suffer regular harm, level 2 harm, but also the grinders are going to be pushing basically to the boat at this point, so your exit is cut off.
Can I try to resist that?
Absolutely you can, yeah. And I think you can resist the harm that would come to you, but the grinders would still come after one way or another.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's something that we haven't really done much, but I do have, as the GM, I can establish more than one consequence, and I can also say that like resisting can be a full or a partial resistance.
Okay.
Just so you all know.
Resisting from prowess and no bonus dice.
A 6. Okay, cool. Yeah, you managed to dodge out of the way of. Well, no, I guess you do successfully then. Wait, how does that work? You failed your roll and then you resisted the consequence. So you're not harmed. But there are these two guards in front of you, and the ghost has your attention, and the grinders are pushing toward the boat. So let's see here. Clank, you have got to the point now where you're in the neighborhood, but the grinders are like pretty much all around you. What are you doing right now? You're muted.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to lead them back to the boat because I want to make it seem like they're trying to steal from the North Hook Company, and I am just a lowly janitor.
Well, it seems like the
North
grinders are headed toward the boat, though.
Well, then I guess I run back the other way and try to raise the alarm that the grinders are coming
Okay.
to steal.
All right, and I'm going to go ahead and roll fortune twice for this grinder thing to destroy the carriage. Let's just see here. Grinders, destroy carriage.
I mean, I understand what you're doing there, but to the other people, aren't we okay with it being destroyed because we want it to make it seem like the grinders are doing that? We've got our part. Like,
It could be like a way for you all to get away. It might be that if the carriage gets destroyed, then like none of the stuff ever makes it to Fitz.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, things you just rolled 2 6s, I guess.
Yep.
That clock.
Yeah. So just so you know, that clock does fill. The grinders have destroyed the carriage, and that is that. So let's see here. Clank, did you want to do something? The grinders are heading toward the boat, and you're escaping. You realize you're escaping without Jonathan or Benji. What are you thinking?
This is going to be weird, but I'm going to call them the Bluecoats.
Call in the Bluecoats. Okay. I mean, at least you're disguised as a North Hook janitor, right?
Yeah.
So how are you getting the Bluecoats' attention?
Okay, I'm going to tinker with another alert system whistle.
Okay, so maybe instead of setting off all of the alerts, you just set off the one that's right by the docks.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I think this is a desperate position.
So, I mean, I don't know what's happened to Jonathan.
Right.
'Cause I got off the boat.
Right. You just know that they're not with you in the escape. You've got the components, but not your compatriots.
And I want the grinders to be held responsible for this disruption, which they are rioting, and they've destroyed a carriage.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so go ahead and tinker with this thing then. It'll be, like I said, a desperate position, but I think a great effect, because you're Tinker Extraordinaire.
So, desperate position. You said correct. And I'm going to be Daredevil.
Okay.
Wait, you said standard effect?
Yes, standard effect. No, I'm sorry, great effect, but that
Well,
we'll just
I got 4.
yeah. So you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer severe harm. A serious complication occurs. You have reduced effect. I think it's severe harm, electrocuted.
Okay.
So this would be level 3 harm. Do you want to resist this?
There's a chance I might trauma out here too. Sure, I will try to resist.
Okay, sounds good. So go ahead and give me that roll then, and we'll see how it goes.
Insight one, that's not my good one. Right, I just click on insight to do it.
Yeah.
Oh.
1. So you take 5 stress.
Hey, you know what though? Because I didn't actually do that. Because I would have. It needs to be 0 dice.
It needs to be 0 dice?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because you don't have any pips in insight?
I have 1, but because of my Daredevil, it's a -1 to resist.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll it again.
So it could be worse than 1.
We'll see.
How do I do that?
You
I have, I
just
can do a -1 bonus die. Okay.
okay.
Okay, I got a 1.
Okay. So 5 stress. You trauma out.
I trauma out.
Okay, but you do resist the consequence of being electrocuted. Actually, with that, I think it's going to go down to level 1 harm. You're shocked instead of electrocuted. But the siren does go off, and the blue coats start to come to the area.
I am now unstable.
Clank, oh god, as if you weren't already. Clank and Jonathan Black flee into the night, and Benji, you are left alone on this boat with these 2 guards and this ghost. What do you attempt to get out of this situation? Or to end the situation, one way or another?
All right, let's see here. What do I got on my items that... ooh. Huh.
Have you maxed out your carry already? I know your
No,
load was
not
pretty
yet.
low.
Yeah, I had a light load, and I used the 5 bottle of whiskey and the vial of slumber essence. So I have one more thing, but we also have thieves gear or whatever that allows me 2 more, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say, by the way, that you should check off a blade or 2 as well, since you're carrying that dagger.
Yeah, fair enough. Yep. Oh my gosh. God, do I want to do this? Oh, man. I almost want to pull find cover identity. But I don't know how I would lie myself out of this situation.
Yeah, I think you're past the point of that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna do another flashback scene. I think one of Clank's little like grappling hook tether lines that we used to assault the rooftop
Mm-hmm.
of Coil.
Mm-hmm.
I think we stashed one on board here,
Okay.
and he is going to run over, grab that, and find a place that's lower than the gunwale of the ship to kind of shoot and attach that. And
Okay.
then he's going to zip line the hell out of here.
Yeah, like maybe spot a couple docks over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Enough distance that it'll take some time to run down there.
Yeah, so hunt is usually the ranged attack thing.
Okay.
Do you have any other ideas about an action you'd use?
I don't have any pips in hunt at all. Study, survey. Under finesse, it has handle a vehicle or a mount, but I don't know. Prowl has unseen and traverse obstacles, climb, swim, jump, run, tumble.
Okay, so maybe it's not a question of whether you are able to shoot the thing. It's a question of whether you're able to stay on
Yeah, or hold
the line as you're zipping over. Okay.
Okay.
That works for me, but before you do that, I do need you to make a resolve resistance check because this ghost is going to try and psychically torment you as you're running across the deck.
Resolve. No bonus dice. 5.
So you take 1 stress as you manage to like overcome the terror that this ghost is inflicting upon you. And now,
Practice.
it's time to prowl your way off the ship.
Okay. Prowl. Position is
Position is desperate for sure.
desperate.
And I hope you all are remembering to mark experience points for
just gonna do
this
that.
stuff. Cool. Desperate position. I think probably a limited effect, just because I don't imagine the boat is super tall. So if you're shooting a couple docks away, then it would be a pretty shallow arc. It might be easy to get stuck. But then again, you are using this magnetic line thrower, which improves your effect. So I think you go up to standard. So it would be desperate standard right now.
All right, let me scrap that and then start. This is prowl. Desperate. And standard.
Yep.
No bonus dice. Or is there bonus dice? No, it improved the
Yeah, you could push yourself, or you could take a devil's bargain to get bonus dice, but those are your
I'm gonna
options.
push myself right now.
Okay. Oh, 1! Are you kidding me? Oh no!
Oh.
It's
Good
the worst
night.
outcome. You suffer severe harm. A serious complication occurs. You lose this opportunity for action. I think what would happen, it would be severe harm, and it would be that. So you're going over the docks, right? And you get over the first one, or you're going over the first one, and then the ghost would wrench the crate that you've stuck this magnetic line thrower into off of the ship deck, and so it would break the tension on the wire, and you would fall down and smack your head on the dock. Let's just go with brained again for third time's a charm. Do you want to resist this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have much of a choice.
All right.
So I'm just gonna have to try my luck. Okay, so this was prowess again.
Yeah, prowess resistance, and you're going to take 6 stress minus the result, highest result.
Okay, no bonus dice.
3 stress.
Which also puts me over my limit.
Oh no!
I had
Oh,
2
man.
remaining, so that gets wiped. And does the 1 wrap around?
Yep.
Okay, so it wraps around, and I
Oh,
pick
it
up
does?
a new trauma.
This is your 3rd trauma, isn't it?
It is my 3rd trauma.
Oh boy. Okay, so our scene ends. All of you disappear into the night in different directions. This was technically a success, but you didn't perform well. It was a success by the seat of your pants.
Like, sort of performed well. Sort of.
He swept very well. That ship was super clean until the ghost wrecked it.
Hey, I would just like to point out that was not my fault this time.
Yeah, very true.
No,
very true.
I'll take responsibility for the ghosts in this one.
Okay, fine. That's fine. So, here's what I think. We end this score with all 3 of you running in different directions into the night. Jonathan manages to, like, claw his way up onto the shore again somehow. He's probably suffered some sort of soul-blighting
cold.
experiences there.
I'm
Oh, there
cold.
it is. He's just perpetually cold. That
Very
could be
cold.
kind of cool, though.
I'm
If
just
it was,
shivering all
like,
the time.
magically, you're going to be cold for the rest of your life.
Oh, kill me. That sounds miserable.
Doesn't it?
Just kill me now.
You can decide about what the trauma means later, but for now, we all end with you running in 3 different directions and the grinders coming onto this boat, which does indeed create a pretty effective distraction. So,
Did the Bluecoats show up to arrest them? I set off
the
alarm.
Bluecoats did show up. Yeah, the Bluecoats showed up and they made some arrests and that sort of thing. So the grinders, as far as the public is concerned, attacked this ship and made off with all sorts of loot, but also got arrested.
They killed
enough of
people.
them to-
They killed people.
Yeah, they killed people for sure. They unleashed a ghost. It was bad news. So, let's do downtime stuff now. I know it's getting late for some of us, so I don't want to keep anybody too much longer. Payoff, 2 rep by default. If the target is a tier higher, then take +1 rep per tier higher, so that's actually 4 reps so far. And then you earn coin based on the nature of the operation. I think that this is going to take the form of people betting on you in races and stuff, because now that there's been some time for some heat to boil down, there can be canal races in different parts of the city. They don't have to be in the docks for now. And so I think that'll be 4 coin for this mission. You're
Plus
gaining a little
R2
bit of
for
a
espionage or sabotage.
do what?
Plus R2 for espionage or sabotage.
Yes, that's right. So 6 coin total. Yeah. Maybe you even managed to like talk to some grinder contacts and get some of the stolen contraband to sell on the side. Maybe that's what the sabotage thing was all about. Okay, so heat. Is this operation smooth and quiet, contained, loud and chaotic, or wild and devastating? You're
As
muted.
far as Clank is concerned, it was smooth and quiet.
It started off that way.
Yep.
I think
I'm-
at least loud and chaotic.
Well, the thing is, people
all three of us
didn't
traumatized out.
people didn't
They don't
realize
know
it was
it was us.
you.
That's true.
So I would say loud and chaotic, especially because all three of you traumatized, but you also got away with it. So I think I would go for the middle and say it's contained. There was trauma, there was badness, but you contained it, you know. So that's only 2 heat. Add +1 heat for a high profile or well connected target. That did indeed happen. So 3 heat. And then add +2 heat if killing was involved. And it was not. It was. So that's gonna be 5 heat
Sorry,
total.
Clank.
I was trying to do this nice and quiet.
I punched the guy. I had every anticipation to not kill anybody, and I was mistaken.
Can someone give me a 1 die roll, a 1 die fortune roll for entanglements, really quick? Two. Gang trouble or the usual suspects. All right. So you get to decide. Either one of your gangs causes trouble due to their flaws and you lose some face, which means that you forfeit a little bit of rep. Or the bluecoats grab somebody for interrogation.
I feel like we get this one every time.
I mean, it
It's
sounds
true.
like it makes sense that they would grab someone because they just arrested a bunch of people.
You know what? Roll
take-
again. I don't want to do this thing again. I want a different result for once on an entanglement. A 6.
Two again.
Great. So it says a +3 status faction asks you for a favor. The Dockers are going to ask you for a favor, and you can either agree to do it or forfeit 1 rep per tier, or lose 1 status with them. So the Dockers are going to ask you for a favor, but we're going to deal with that later. And now we each have 2 downtime actions. So do you guys have any ideas about what you want to do for downtime?
Warm up.
I have projects to work on.
So Black, I'm thinking, I don't know, do you want to start up another project to point the Dockers in a direction, or do you want to make that the subject of a score? How do you want to approach that?
I guess I'll ask you guys. Would you like to do that as a score in the future, or I can start a clock? That sounds like something we would do. I'm comfortable doing it as a clock. That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I think that works.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we're effectively ending our season 1, right? So the
Not
Dockers
tonight.
are Union Night. Oh, not tonight? Okay.
Yeah, no, we've got another 1 or 2 sessions left after this.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Then I'm gonna start a clock for mobilizing the union.
Okay, cool. So you're getting him ready to act or something. You're telling him to,
Yep. Yep.
be ready for anything. All right, I think this is. I could see this being like a 6 clock. Not a super long thing.
And then I just roll fortune for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
One.
1. Okay. Actually, no. I'm sorry. You decide on an action, and you roll the action.
Gotcha. I'm gonna say I am studying
So you're looking for like a. Oh, okay. So you want to identify a person that the Dockers can mobilize against.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
We killed the leader of the Grinders. Hmm. I want to study maybe Celine.
Ah, okay. So you're thinking maybe the Dockers could find an enemy within the Leviathan Hunters and mobilize against them.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah, yeah. In LHs. Cool. So give me that roll.
Come on, no Emmys. 4.
4. So that's going to be 2 segments on the clock. Well done. And so let's see here. You managed to identify some people who can get you close to people who know about Celine, but it's like you're just working your way up the ladder right now. It's pretty early on in the process.
Writing down names, taking numbers.
Exactly, exactly. So, do you have a second downtime action, or do you want me to move on to somebody else?
Can I train? Train resolve.
Sure, yeah. And let me remind myself here: the crew gives a bonus for studying or for training certain attributes. It's prowess. If you train prowess, you get 2 experience points instead of 1.
Then I'm actually going to do prowl.
Okay. Well, it would just be prowess.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I'll stay with the tune. Resolve, rather.
Okay. Cool. And how is it that you're training resolve? You want to?
I fixed my Spirit Bane charm.
Ah, cool.
And came to the conclusion that that was a bad idea. Life's about growth.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
As I like shiver perpetually now.
I love it. All right, so Clank, you said that you had some long-term projects you wanted to work on as well.
Yes, I wrote you a message about a secret project, and I just need to know how many faces for it. But don't tell anyone else what it is.
Okay. I think that would be an 8 clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm going to work on my blinding light tech. I believe that's going to be Tinker rolls.
Yes, yeah.
So position and effect don't matter, right?
Yeah, position and effect don't matter.
Ooh, I got a 6.
Die result. A 6. Okay, great. So you're going to fill in 3 segments on the clock.
I have devised blinding light tech.
Very nice. All right, cool. So
So
now
now
I believe-
can craft it, right?
yes, now you can craft it, and you make a crafting roll to determine what the tier of the item is. But I want to say you might have to use that as a specific action. Let me just double check here. Crafting. Yeah, so
Okay.
during downtime, a PC can tinker with special materials and tools to produce stuff. So,
So I will tinker, and I get a +1 result level to my roll. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm an artificer.
okay, sounds good.
So tinker and a 5.
A 5. So the quality is equal to your tier.
+1.
+1. So yeah, tier 2 quality blinding light object then. And you said this was it's like a firework flashbang, is that right?
Yep, and it's single use, or I have to reuse the same thing.
Okay. And is it like a gun shaped thing, or is it like a lantern, or what does it look like?
It's like an orb.
Okay. Very cool. All right, tier
And
2.
then, oh, sorry.
You can spend coin to do another downtime action, but those were 2 actions just then.
Yep, I was going to spend coin.
Okay.
I'm going to work on my secret project.
Okay.
And I'm going to tinker. 6.
A 6. All right, so that's 3 segments.
And I'm going to spend another coin to work on. Can I work on the same project?
Yes, yeah. a 4. So that's one more project, or one more. No, sorry, 2 more.
2 more? Oh,
Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
All right. So that's 2 more. So 5 out of 8. Sorry, I'm keeping my own notes over here. Very good. So Benji, last is you for these downtime activities. What do you have in mind?
Derek, did you mark the coin that we got as a crew on the crew sheet, or did we just divide it up amongst ourselves?
No, we haven't yet.
That's fine.
We've got 8
It can stay
coin on our crew sheet right now.
Yeah, it can stay there. That's fine. As far as my downtime activities go, I picked up a new trauma.
So did I.
Not really much I can do with that, I don't think.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 heat. Just so you know.
Okay. Yeah, I will attempt to reduce some heat on us then.
Okay, sounds good.
I think I am going to attempt to pin more of our involvement on the grinders.
Okay,
finesse.
cool. Frame them even more.
Yeah, with finesse, employ subtle misdirection.
Cool. Okay, yeah, go ahead and give me that roll and see how that goes.
Okay, finesse, no position or effect. No bonus dice. Yes.
A 6, all right, very nice. So you're going to reduce heat by 3. Actually, wait, reduce heat. Yeah, 3.
We had how much to start with?
6, I believe.
6. Okay. So that gets it a little more manageable. Trying to think if I want to try to do that again or not. Yeah, I'm going to try to do that again. But instead of using finesse, I will also... I think I'm going to use consort.
Okay, sounds good. So this time you're rubbing elbows and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see how that goes.
Two.
-2. Okay. So you've got 1 heat left. I will say you have a special ability, I think, where if you end a downtime round with 0 heat, then you get a bonus. What is that ability?
You get an extra rep. No traces.
Next
When you
extra
in
rep,
downtime
yeah.
to 0 heat, take 1 rep.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I have my bonus, or a bonus downtime activity that I can grant with calculating.
Plus, we have group coin that I don't mind throwing that way to reduce heat.
Yeah. By the way, I don't think you all have vaults, so you can't actually put coin in that space. You have
I
to
know.
dish it out
Oh,
to people.
We'll have to portion it out, but I'm just waiting.
Okay.
Well, I have 3 on my character sheet under stash.
That's a different thing. That's like
that's
your
different.
retirement
Okay.
savings, yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. So yeah, let's spend one of the crew coin to try to reduce that last point of heat.
Okay, sounds good. And to be honest, I mean, it's going to work.
That's true. It has to
There's
be
no
at
way
least
you
one
can
point.
fail. So, yeah, you clear the heat and you get 1 additional rep.
Cool. So I think I'm going to use the bonus downtime activity I get from calculating
Mm-hmm.
to work to try to advance my clock on
Nice.
on LaRose. Ooh, either LaRose Dirt or advancing prowess
Such a choice.
is. I think I'm going to advance prowess.
Okay.
You said that's by 2 because of our particular.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
And how are
guys
you
trying to
training your
improve your
prowess?
prowl, aren't you?
I need to. My prowl is what got me in trouble.
How are you training prowess then?
I think I'm going to try to take some prowling lessons from Clank and Jonathan.
All right, cool. A little team training, a team
Yeah.
building exercise.
Get them to teach me some pointers and some tricks and stuff.
Clink
Very
sets
nice.
up an obstacle course for you.
No booby traps.
Cool. Well, that sounds good. And while we're having this discussion about obstacle courses and booby traps, the camera pans out of the lair and it goes back and it zooms out of the city over the waters and then eventually sinks below the surface of the waters. And that is the end of our session for tonight. So thank you everyone for joining us. Those of you watching afterward, we really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying it. We are only too happy to perform for you, and I'm going to let the guys take it out. So first of all, let's do Baron.
What's up, everybody? I'm Baron. I had the pleasure of playing Jonathan Black, the now cold and haunted Hound. Eager to see where our path takes us next. I had a blast. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Jeremy, let's do you next.
I love it when you do me. I am I am Jeremy. I have the YouTube channel, The Erasmus Expeditions. I am also 1/3 of the podcast, The Dudes of Yore, which you can find both of those things on YouTube. Definitely go check them out. I am playing Benjamin Overstreet, Benji for short. And yeah, this game is nuts. Like, it's just an up and down, back and forth. It's like, we're doing great. Everybody's rolling sixes like they're going out of style. And then it all just tanks.
And then shit hits the fan.
Somehow we still pull it off, but there's all kinds of strings everywhere.
Yep.
I love it.
It's true. Yeah, well, thanks very much, Jeremy. Always a pleasure to play with you. And Derek.
I am Derek, small part of the Mythic Gazetteer. You can find me in different live plays on Eli's channel and a little bit on Jeremy's too. It's been a lot of fun playing Clank. We'll see. Now he's unstable, so we'll see what happens next time. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so like I said, I'm Eli Kurtz. I run this game, and I run this channel, and I also run the Mythic Gazetteer, a game company that publishes things. You can find us on DriveThruRPG. I've got links for everything down in the show notes, and once again, thank you so much for tuning in. So until next time, and so our tale draws to a close for now, but remember to tune in next time for Ring Down Below, presented by KMGX. Until next time, keep your eyes on the canals. We're on the prowl.